4 days. 4 days. And football god, my guy A.J. Brown's gone. 4 days. 4 days. And by the way, as reported here first, the Patriots have a problem giving a disgruntled player a 1 to bring him on their team to the Philadelphia Eagles. As of right now, it's a 2 and a 3 still. Now, they got 4 days to work this out. They think he's a disgruntled player. And they're not in the business of giving disgruntled players and first-round draft choices of the future of the team to bring them aboard. And all of you say he's got dropped, he's lost a step, he's got a bad knee. And all of you guys are saying, well, you know, we still want a 1, and the guy's not a good player anymore. Well, that's not true in any way. He's a great player. And it was noticeable yesterday with A.J. Brown not being on the field. Appreciate you here. Thank you, Khalid. This AJB bullshit really grinding my gears. Last minute deal is not done. Just keep him and package him up for Garrett. Listen, this deal's getting done. They're not having that guy on the football team. And I know, keep holding out. This thing has gone and run its course. Please take what you can get on June 1st and let's get this thing over with. I think that's what the Patriots are hoping. Howie Roseman is not going to take a knee. If this thing doesn't get done, it will get done. He will not be on the football team in September. Okay? But Howie Roseman is not going to panic. Just because it's June 1, that's not a kill day. Nothing happens. If he's still on your football team, June 2nd or 3rd, Howie's going to look at that and go, so? As long as he's not here by September. Hey, and by the way, for the record, if they were still thinking about having him on the team, he would have been at these OTAs. He's not going to be here. His time is done. Okay? I mean, right? And like Gary Cobb told me and texted me last night, it was, here, Prince, since Prince wants to have why I know that it was noticeable in practice, because Gary Cobb fucking was there and he texted me. Fair enough? Thank you. Jesus Christ. Not implying I was there. Gary Cobb was. Gary Cobb told you here yesterday he was going over to practice. Do you not remember? Probably not. Okay? Text you what? If you didn't hear it, dude, play the game back. Anyway, are we still talking about, bro, this is not old news. Old news, 4 days from now, the best player on the football team offensively is not going to be on your team. It's not old news, dickhead. Old news. How is it old news? When it's the front storyline in the National Football League. I mean, right? Nobody said AJ's leaving. Okay, but by the way, let's get to the topics. For some of you Nimrods in here who refuse to believe it, keep rolling down that lane. It's all good. Okay, so we're going to start with some of the things that I took away from the Jalen Hurts presser, Saquon Barkley, and a little bit with Zach Bond. And I want to start it out. By the way, Mark Farzetta will join us at 4:30. And Super Chats go to the top. Please hit the like button. So I'm going to start this off before we get into my takeaways with Jalen Hurts. See, I happen to listen to it differently than most of you because most of you have the Eagle earmuffs on and you want to hear what you want to hear. Okay? I thought that was dope and I thought that was classic. when Jalen was asked the AJ question. I thought that was spectacular. I thought that was so well done and so smooth. Okay? I thought it was so smooth how he did it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So here, let's start this off with this. You think the Eagles this offseason here are setting Jalen Hurts up for success or failure? Then we're going to go into what he said. Are the Eagles setting him up for success or failure in 2026? Success. 50-50. Interesting. 50-50. Okay? Setting him up for proving himself. Let me ask you guys something who are saying this success. Okay? Let me ask you why, and people are saying for success. How can you set somebody up for something that doesn't fit their skill set or their skill? Hurts even said it himself. How are you setting somebody up for success? By putting him, it's like a helicopter pilot, and then telling him to fly a 747. How are you saying you're asking and putting him in a room of success when he's never done this in his entire career playing football? For the love of God, get AJ the hell out of here. To make Sills happy, I'm so tired. I won't be happy when he leaves. That guy's content gold. The talent is there to succeed, but he's got to prove he can evolve and get an extension. Hurts is set up for success if he can evolve. If he can't, he'll fail. Okay? You say he can't shoot a gun, but the team got him more weapons. Look at the moves. I am looking at the moves. They're all things that don't fit his skill set. He's not a spread the ball out guy. Never has been. All the way back to his college days. You think they're setting him up for success. I think they're setting the offense up in the line of what Nick Sirianni and what Sean Mannion want, because that's what Hurts said. You're doing every single thing with Jalen Hurts right now that does not one iota fit his skill set. So let's go into what Jalen said. And by the way, verbatim, we wrote it down. Okay? So Jalen Hurts was asked about all the coordinator changes. Verbatim. I haven't changed my process since college. Yes, it's hard to grow with the changes. Now, is that an excuse? Is that reality? I think it's both. I think it's both. And either you're a big-time quarterback or you're not. And he was asked that point blank. Okay? With all the changes that have been made, yes, it's hard to grow with the changes. Okay? So he's telling you that it's been hard. Why would a new coordinator who's making massive changes in your passing game, why would it be easier? Let's move forward. By the way, Gary Cobb texted me and said the offense looks completely different than it has the last 5 years. It doesn't resemble anything that they have done. So all the things that made you and gave you that record, they don't resemble anything they're doing moving forward. Okay? All right. So, here's something else. Right now, Sean Mannion has said, quote, hey, you guys did this very well in the past. I've got to see where that fits in and where it fits in to what we're doing. So all the things that you've done in the past, they're not meshing shit. Sean Mannion's going to pick certain things that you were successful at and put him in his new offense that's never been on a football field before, ever. There's no question. My biggest takeaway was this is Sean Mannion's game. And Jalen Hurts even said that. We're following along. There's a new boss, and we're following what his direction is. And right now, we are listening and we're trying to communicate. Okay. We're laying down the foundation. Here's another thing on the install. Installing the old plays with the new. Let's see if any of the old stuff fits with what we're going to do. You are having massive changes. You are not having 10, 15% changes. Your offense is going to look or try to look like a offense that's run by Matthew Stafford. Doomer Dan? So listen to this. Doomer Dan, by reading quotes from your own players. Doomer Dan. Huh. Bro, these are quotes from your own players. I haven't even given you opinion yet. These are what your players are saying. Okay? I didn't say this shit. This is Jalen Hurts saying this. When asked of the offense, it's very different. It's very different than what we've done in the past. Okay? All of these reps that we are doing now are pivotal in laying down the foundation because we're all learning a new offense. Wow. Every single thing that you guys have done in the past, they're going to try to see if some of those plays will fit into what Sean Mannion wants to do. This is a complete overhaul of your offense. A complete overhaul. Quarterback saying it. When asked the question, okay, here's a good one. What's your point? He won't be able to do it. When asked the question on A.J. Brown, he never answered the question, but I appreciated the answer. And the answer was, we'll never be able to replace the success we had with one another. Okay? We'll never be able to. And we had a ton of success. And he's right. Based on what? He's never done it. And it's not how and who he was drafted. That's why. And by the way, hey, RC, either you're going to be right or I'm going to be right. At least I have a fucking opinion. You think he will. I think he won't. We will find out the final game of the season in 2026. We'll agree to disagree. Hey, we'll find out. Either you're going to be right or I'm going to be right. There's no gray area. Plain and simple. Either he's going to run Matthew Stafford's offense or he's not. End of story. There's really no other way. Pessimist Dan, if somebody told me that Matthew Stafford had to run Josh Allen's offense or Lamar Jackson's offense, I would say never. Every quarterback and every player has a skill set. Get this. Hey, okay? You're right or I'm wrong. I'm right or you're wrong. We gonna find out. And that's sports talk. We will find out. We shall see if this offense will go from being one of the bottom 10 passing teams in pro football the last 5 years to one of the top 10 overnight in 57 days. Have at it, dude. More power to you. You don't have enough time. This is a 2-year evolution. This is not going to happen in 57 days. I'm not even sure you've got the players to pull this off. This is going to be a shit show come fall time. Asking Hurts to run a West Coast offense is the worst fit. Duel. That's why I asked you, are they setting Jalen Hurts up for success or failure? There's plenty of options that better match his skill set. 1,000% correct. Yes. Eagles offense can't get to a top 10 with noodle arm Hurts and AJ gone. Good luck with a rookie wideout. Hey, get this. Saquon also told us a lot on what's happening. Okay? Last time you didn't believe in Hurts, he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl being carried to the game by Barkley. He went for a ride in his 2,900 yards and his 18 TD passes. Yeah. Get this. 50-18 says he can't do it. Sorry. Jalen Hurts said it's a completely new offense. That shit's gone, dude. That's from your quarterback's mouth. So when you're bringing 50-18 up, quarterback says this is very different, were the exact words, than what we have done and what we have done here. Exactly. Those were the words. Sills, other than Mike Martz, I can't think of another offensive coordinator that had success his first year. Well, Mike Martz was the OC, and then when he got the head football coaching job, remember something. He won the Super Bowl as the OC, and then he came back the following year. They went to a Super Bowl and got beat. How do people still believe the Super Bowl is an individual accomplishment? Fucking morons. Or how do people still believe the Super Bowl is an individual accomplishment? Completely stupid. You win a Super Bowl. That's got nothing to do with the quarter. Oh, it does. But it's a team accomplishment. Like a 14-3 record is a team accomplishment. It's not a quarterback accomplishment. Good quarterbacks have played on shitty teams. I mean, back in the day, Arch Manning was the MVP of the NFL, and he went 8-8 because he was on a bad football team. Okay? All right. Saquon Barkley also showed you what the differences are going to be. Stills, I don't think they're setting Hurts up to fail, but I believe they are willing to move forward if Hurts doesn't succeed. They want him, but they are moving forward either way. Completely true. Okay? Completely true. So here's Saquon Barkley. Excited to work with Mannion. Right now, we're in the process of building a relationship. It's obviously very different than what we've done here. That's the second star player that has said it's completely different. Under center will help the run game. By the way, Kyle, you'll probably get this. He brought up something very interesting. He brought the player named Todd Gurley up. Why would he do that? Why would he bring up Todd Gurley? Saquon Barkley. Why would he? Correct. Correct. Running back catching the football and stretch plays. They are making a complete facelift change with your offense. Will not resemble anything you've done. And you've got to do this in 57 days. Okay? Todd Gurley had great years in Los Angeles. Got paid, fell off the map. When he had to go to a different offense, like Atlanta. Got injured too, I believe, in Los Angeles. He's a good football player. But Saquon Barkley is not Todd Gurley in skill set. Like, that guy, like, consecutive years had like 70 catches, 60 catches. And led the NFL in touchdowns and all that other shit. Had like 80 targets. I looked up Todd Gurley's numbers. So, those two dominant years that he had when they went to the Super Bowl, he had 80 targets, 75 targets. You think you're going to make Saquon Barkley the second option in your offense? Based on what? They're going to throw the football to him. And they're going to see, because they're going to try to get him out in space. This is a short passing game. This is an intermediate passing game. Something the Eagles have never had. This is a complete facelift. This is not some fucking subtle change that we've been led to believe. This is an overhaul. This is a complete overhaul of approach. Here, what else did he say? The blocking scheme. And the blocking schemes are now different than anything that we've done since I've been here. This is Saquon Barkley. He said this about AJ. I have nothing bad to say about AJ Brown. This is the business we live in. He's right. And it was a professional answer by him. Hey, nobody's talked about it inside the locker room about leadership stuff because this is the NFL. He said something interesting, too, about himself. I need to be better. And I need to be more explosive this year because I wasn't explosive last year. And I need to be a better football player than I showed last year. Okay? Folks, these are all of the comments made by the players. These are not comments that I'm making. I wasn't there. You have get this. The defense is making no changes. They're making additions and adding to their success. The Eagles are basically going back to square one. They're going back to square one. Barkley said it. Hurts said it. Those are my takeaways. And with an older team. Okay? Well, Gary Cobb was there too, guy. Sills, Garrett Tuck is stoked up again. Move Carter plus picks to get Garrett, then send AJ to the Rams or Chargers for a safety and a second-round pick, Derwin James or Kitchens. Derwin James became the highest-paid safety 2 days ago. He became the highest-paid safety. And by the way, be prepared next offseason to pay Cooper DeJean north of $28 million. Because Derwin James just got paid. Got extended 2 days ago. There's no guarantee this is going to fail. The bar is low to be better than last year. Again, Brandon. To fail, I'm talking about starting over. And you're doing something completely different than you've ever done. These are the words of your players. Okay? Get this. Guys, I just listened to the interview. It's right there at Eagles.com. Go listen to it. Very simple. Jalen Hurts, very different. Hard to grow when you have so many changes. We're laying the foundation down right now. Every single rep we're taking is pivotal because it's new. And it is very different than what we've ever done. Those are all facts. You're doing things you've never done. Okay. I have confidence in the O-line that a historic year being able to run better this year, and that opens up everything. So you're expecting AZ another historic rushing year. Okay? Write that down. I got all these all this stuff I'm saving up. All you guys are saying. Historic run game is coming. Okay? All these changes in no lane. Oh, and for the record, I will say this, and I'm going to even more so go to it. Now with AJ being knocked off the team, I am even more convinced it's an 8-9 team. And by the way, unless you add Myles Garrett, I won't change until September. And I won't change at all. I'm not changing that prediction. So you could say it right now on May 28th, 8-9 at 2:37 Eastern time. You got it. No problem. 8-9. They had a historic run game. No reason to believe they won't be able to run being more healthier. Get it right, Sills. Okay. And like I said, either he's right or I'll be right. We'll find out. Hey, Reyes, you probably think you're better without AJ, right? What's this one? Reyes, you think you're better without AJ, right? This is all you'll need to know here. You believe you're better without AJ, right? You believe you're better without your best offensive player. Is that correct? So hey, do you believe you will be better without AJ Brown in 4 days? How many people believe the Eagles will be better in 4 days without? Yeah, not likely, kid. First time for everything. James, you think the Eagles will be better without AJ Brown is coming in? We are better when we have 11 players. Okay. So he believes you'll be better in 2026. All that other bullshit he wrote, he thinks you'll be better. Where will Saquon have room to run with an 8-man stacked boxes until Jalen and the receivers can force the respect of the defenses? That's another great take. Let me ask you this. Do you really think I'm going to respect the Eagle passing game with a completely overhaul for a quarterback who's never shown the propensity to throw across the middle of the field? You're going to have to earn that, dude. Coordinators are not just going to go, oh, shit, they're going to throw across the middle of the field. There's no respect for that. There was zero respect in that 49er game when you guys got beat by a JV team. Here's another guy. He believes the offense this year will be better without A.J. Brown. Okay? Here's another guy who believes the offense will be better without A.J. Brown. Here's another guy that will believe that they're better without A.J. Brown. Sills, I give it till week 6 till Hurts is benched. Just jack up Devontae at the line and the Eagles will be exposed. Correct. Little ass wide receivers, no threat on offense. Nobody fears the Eagles with a washed-up running back. He's not washed up. And he's not a noodle arm. It's just too much of a change. He better put on his big boy pants and lean into throwing on time over the middle. Okay? I think everyone will be having more fun without the AJ stuff, dividing the team, which can result in playing better. Hold on. Dividing the team? Saquon Barkley's words on AJ Brown. One of the best teammates I've ever played for. Not a person in the locker room disliked him. He was a team leader, and you'll never catch me saying anything poorly about A.J. Brown. Teammates loved him. What are you talking about, Brandon? That's not what Barkley said. Barkley said he was a fabulous team leader. He didn't divide the team. Where are you getting that from? Or are you making that up? I think you can love Hurts and AJ and still be uncomfortable with them beefing. According to Jalen Hurts, we're in a good place. Last time I spoke, we're good. You'll never hear me answer anything and say anything negative about A.J. Brown, especially with the success we had together. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not what the players say. Gee, you got people in here with these different narratives, and you're hearing the players talk. They're not echoing what you're saying. Oh, Brandon says it's fluff now. I see. When the Eagles say something, you believe it. But when the players say something, you don't. Got it. Eagles putting Hurts behind the 8 ball, Sales. Why would the Eagles all of a sudden switch their method of winning? You could talk, dude. That's my problem. Why would you change your method of winning and the method and the formula of winning this dramatically? By the way, I'll tell you something else I came away with. With the players speaking, Jordan Davis is a better leader than Jalen Carter. Yep. He's a better leader. Yeah. You can rely on him a little more than Carter. I can't rely on Carter right now. I kind of don't know what's up with him. I think Jordan Davis has more character. Jordan Davis has more character than Jalen Carter. Yes. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear Zach Bond when he was talking about leadership and leaders. I didn't hear him bring up Jalen Carter's name. I heard him bring up Q, Jordan Davis. I didn't hear him bring up Carter's name. So this scheme change has Hurts moving like from a bike with training wheels to a unicycle. Very little room for error now. Yeah. Let's see here. They play D-line, not quarterback. Who cares, Sills? What would you know about leadership on a team? The rebuilt offense is for the next Eagles quarterback. By year 2, the offense will be better equipped and experienced to operate it more efficiently, and they can pair it with a capable West Coast quarterback like Mac Jones. I added Mac Jones. What we determine if we were better with him without, if the offense is ranked higher or strictly record. I think your eyeball test, dude. Get this. You compare Carter to Brown, so what the fuck does that say about your boy? I never compared Jalen Carter to Jerome Brown's leadership. I compared him to a talent. That's what the fuck it means. Those are two different conversations. Leadership and skill set are two different things. Or you might not know that either. You don't learn that playing Madden. Okay? That's what the difference is. You can have all the talent in the world, but whoever said that I compared him to Jerome Brown's leadership? Where did you ever hear me say that? That would be never. Like, ever did I say that. Let's see here. Davis being a better leader doesn't surprise me one bit. Carter seems immature. Would you trade Carter if you worried about his character? No. For who? Myles Garrett? Yeah. For Max Crosby? Yeah. In a trade? No. No. I'm not going to get rid of Carter and A.J. Brown in the same offseason. What the hell does that mean? No, I wouldn't be doing that. Okay? You can't have cupcakes in the locker room. Poor character has nothing to do with cupcakes. And don't get bent out of shape because I said Davis is and has more character. Okay? That's why we changed the offense. Hell, you could change it every year. My concern with Carter is his shoulders more than anything. According to Vic, there's no problem. Okay? Not trading Carter with this group of backups. Hey, by the way, Ty Robinson, I told you a year ago, that guy was so far away from playing, and he's so far away from playing. He's not going to battle for a backup job. That guy is far from playing. And that looks to me like a misevaluation and another waste of a third rounder. That doesn't look very good right now. Let's see where they got his ass on the depth chart. Let me see where Clint has this guy. Slow feet. Slow hands. Let's see. Just telling you. I don't see it. Okay? I mean, he plays too high. He can't get off of blocks. He doesn't have a swivel in his hip to get around tackles. He was poorly coached in college. And this is really going to take some time. I don't know if the Eagles have time. That guy's not a depth piece. He's a fourth rounder, my bad. Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. Seal's honest question, how come the Eagles can't find Fangio for offense? Because they don't want to. They tried it. Brian Dable, Mike McDaniels. Those guys don't want to coach Hurts. They don't want to coach Hurts. Dude, you know how you get a job? Putting big numbers up. Seals, the offense is focusing on new stuff before dialing it back towards the start of the season to make it blend. I won't believe they are completely abandoning the all stuff until I see it in week one. Well, that's not what Jalen Hurts is saying. Jalen Hurts is saying that Sean Mannion told them, you guys do this really well, verbatim. You guys do this really well. We have to see where it fits. I mean, now, I don't mind you thinking that, Curtis, because I'm agreeing with you. But what the quarterback said today, the quarterback said, Mannion has already come to them and said, you guys do this really great. I just got to figure out where it fits. Does that sound like a guy is going to be doing and going back to the old ways? The only way they go back to the old way is if Nick makes it happen like that. And they're 2-2 after the first 4 games. And Nick goes like this, fuck that, we're going back to this. Then the offseason would have been a complete failure. If you revert back to what you did a year ago with all these schematic changes and personnel changes, that's a disaster failure. Now, if you move forward and this kind of works, my question for the Eagles and their management will be, what's success for you? It can't be winning because you were winning. Your benchmark was 11 wins on a bad season. So it can't be that. What's success for you? Feliciano, rage baiter Carter into crying. Dak rage baiter Carter into spitting. Under center, middle of the field, outside run. Okay? Something they've never done. Okay? By the way, JoJo, all the things you guys are saying that they're going to do, they've never done. Remember that. Guy, are you kidding again? Another name change? Man, there's an illness with that guy. Sills, the scheme, I appreciate you being here. Keep posting away, guy. I'll never read a fucking thing you say. I don't even know why you're here. But hey, welcome, I guess. Sills, the scheme is changing, but do you think Nick's philosophy of run first and risk-averse play is changing? Well, Curtis, when you throw the ball as much as you're going to throw the ball, you're opening yourself up for turnovers. That's why. I mean, that you're opening yourself up for more turnovers. Yeah, dude, that guy's looking for a date or something. I don't know. Jalen has never been under center? When's the last time he was under center? So, all the shit that I said, what the players said, and I have an opinion that I don't think you can get this done in 57 days, so be it, Prince. You think they can get it done in 57 days. I don't think he can throw across the middle of the field. I don't think the player can throw on time. And if you think you're right, have at it. Wonderful. I think you're wrong. You think I'm wrong. We will find out. Simple as that. This is the beautiful thing about the NFL. Either Prince will be right, or I'll be right, or I'll be wrong. 2026, it's coming. You could sit here on May 28th and sit here and pretend that he's done this in the past, or you could go with something that, it's funny. No one has ever asked Matthew Stafford to change. Or no one's ever asked Patrick Mahomes to change their style of play. Now you're asking Hurts to change the style of play. And Prince thinks that that's common, that you ask quarterbacks to change their style of play. That's insane. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are not changing their style of play. They're not changing anything. You, right here, Jalen Hurts, it's very different than what we've done. I don't know what else to say to you. I mean, the quarterback, the running back, all said it. It's a change. What the fuck don't you believe? Now, here's the difference between you and me. You think they're going to do it. Get this. This has nothing to do with being asked to be a different player. Seals, you'll be right when you are rub it in. Oh, and I'm going to rub it in. I'm going to come off the fucking top rope. And I hope you do if you're right. Come at me. I hope you do. But because I'm coming off the top rope. We are so close to all the shit that I've been saying about this guy. And it's going to come true. And guess what? I'm going to be there waiting. I can't believe, and here's the fucking crazy thing. I can't believe they're doing this. To this extent, I would never do that with Jalen. I would put him in a room for success. I would completely put him in the room for success. Sills, they are doing this to hopefully get this offense to the top 15. I think they will run more than you think. Also, AJ being gone makes think they will. Without AJ, they're going to run more? Possibly so. Okay? You got guys in here who actually think your football team is a better team without AJ Brown. Is wild. I mean, wild. What I don't get is when you point out the obvious. I really don't get it. Sills, that's true. Stafford, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes have not been asked to change. But John Elway changed his style. Actually, he never changed his style of play. They changed the mentality of how they were going to win. They went to risk-averse running the ball. They took the football out of the hands of John Elway late in his career, Bob, and put it in the hands of the better player. And that was Terrell Davis. He was the better player at that time when Elway was 37. Elway couldn't carry teams anymore. That's right, James. And they had that great defense on the other side. That's correct. I listened to two unsportsmanlike, convinced will be three-way trade, AJ to the Patriots, a first and how he uses it to get Garrett insurance policy when this offense fails. I don't know. I think you're right, Kim. I think there's going to be a 1. Okay? Sills, if Hurts can play under center, show good footwork, read defenses, spread the ball around, throw on time, attack the entire field, why hasn't he done this? What are these people talking about? Hey, Duel, I'm going to do this one last time. I'm going to show you something, Duel. Duel, listen to me here. Here was the book on Hurts. Has issues sustaining rhythm as a passer. With so many off-schedule throws. Doesn't throw in time. Inconsistent patience in the pocket. Slow recognition of early throw opportunities. Leaves slants and crosses behind the targets. Misses checkdowns. That's why they don't have a checkdown game. For speedsters to slow up for back shoulder throws. Needs to get better at trusting in the pocket. Quick to drop his eyes in pressure moments. They wrote this about him in 18. Has anything changed? Jules, you're absolutely right, but all the quarterbacks you mentioned never had different OCs every year of his career. At this point, they need to do something less predictable. Oh, that's fair too, Daff. And Hurts even addressed that. Yeah, my process hasn't changed. But it's been difficult and hard to grow with the changes. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong on that. You think Howie will make the Pats budge for a 1? I do. Okay? I do. I mean, look at that. That was a report that was written on Jalen Hurts in 2018. And none of those things have gotten better. They haven't evolved the quarterback at all as a skill set player. And he hasn't erased any of those. That's who he is. And you guys think he's going to turn into Matthew Stafford when he's never changed his makeup as a pocket player. Where? Based on what? Like, that was, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 9 years ago. 9 years ago. I'll tell you what was refreshing to hear was the defensive guys talking about Vic. They're not talking about changing shit. They're talking about adding. Okay? Look at this. Mannion said he could do it. How do you know Mannion can do it? Shooter, you just said you didn't want to trade a first-round pick, and now you do make your fucking mind up. I don't know who Shooter is here. Oh, I see Shooter. Hurts dropping his eyes and getting happy feet in a clean pocket drives me nuts. It does it all the time. Dude, I'll tell you, listening to Zach Bond and talking about missing the Kobe and talking about the additions. Hey, by the way, I did not know this. Okay? I didn't know Tariq Woolen was 6'4". I mean, he's got to be the tallest corner in the league. 6'4"? I mean, dude, those guys don't look like that. A 6'4" corner? Holy shit. Is having different OCs every year that big of an issue? If they allowed him to operate within his comfort zone and that radically changed the scheme. Listen, I still think it's different. I do. Every play caller has nuances, and I think it is different. Some guys are going to use plays in certain situations on 2nd and 8. Some aren't. Some are going to have different philosophies on what they think on 2nd and 6. It really is a different. And like I say, there's a skill to it on being a situational play caller. You don't just get the title and become a situational play offensive coordinator or a D coordinator. It took Vic Fangio 40 years to do it, to win a Super Bowl. It took Vic Fangio 40 years to win a Super Bowl. And you think Sean Mannion, who's never done it, is going to be a Super Bowl offensive coordinator in 57 days? Each his own, dude. Sales, this could be a good thing, though, Sales. If they're putting the ball in Hurts' hands and the offense shows up, what will critics say? I'm saying this one finally times, are you sure it's not Nick screwing this up? Let me read this again. This should be a good thing, though, Sales. And this should be a good thing. If they're putting the ball in Hurts' hands and the offense shows up, what will critics say? I'm going to say this one final time. Are you sure it's not Nick screwing this up? I'm not sure of that, Marsh. I'm not sure of that. I'm not. Marsh, I'll tell you this. I think this team wins because of sensational talent that Howie's put on it. Now they're trying to schematic. Get this. Before, Marsh, think about this for a second. In 24, you lined up with 7 plays and beat the shit out of people. Now you want to go through different formatic changes. You want to have motion. You want to throw across the middle of the field. You want to have a check down game. Sounds to me like your team's getting older, and you got to come up with different ways to win. Am I right when I say that? You didn't need different ways to win in 24 and in 22. Your window was 22 through 24. That was your Super Bowl window. Because through those 2 Super Bowl appearances, you didn't have to come up with fucking fancy motion plays. You lined up and kicked the shit out of people. Did you not? You didn't need motion. You didn't need jet sweeps. You didn't need stretch plays. You just lined up and beat people up. Now you need all motion, under center, all this other shit. Sounds to me like an aging team. Losing Brown won't make the roster better, but I'd rather have less talent and better coaching. We got beat 7 times last year by teams with worse rosters. Not bad take. Think about this, Jace. Between 2022 and 24, you lined up and beat fucking people up, did you not? Shit, you didn't even have a passing game in 24. Get this. See this? This guy here, here's the reason this guy don't want to hear this. From 22 to 24, you didn't even have a fucking passing game. You were 29th in passing. You were so dominant at the point of attack, you didn't even have to fucking throw the ball. You lined up and beat people up. Now you want to do this. Well, let's do motion. Let's go under center. Let's spread the ball around. Let's get 5 more receivers. Shit, 22 and 24, you lined up and beat people up. What happened? You got old. You got injured. Players not performing. Hello? Hello? I know you thought your Super Bowl window was 10 years. Your Super Bowl window was 23 to 24. End of fucking story. Now you're going out like trick plays. Bringing Sean Mannion in. Bringing and having guys, get this. Now they want Saquon Barkley to play like Todd Gurley. And they want Jalen Hurts to play like Matthew Stafford. Make that make sense. Why would I play like Matthew Stafford and Todd Gurley when in the last 4 years I've had more success than them? I don't get it. They even sound stupid. Not the players. So the Pats are going to give up a number 1 for AJ when they can have Tyreek Hill. I don't want Tyreek Hill. Debo, Ayuk, none of those guys are AJ Brown. For all 3 cups of coffee and less than AJ contract. Wolf isn't that dumb. He knows what he's got with AJ Brown. Dude, that offense is going to be very good with him. Plus, they got a quarterback that could throw the ball to him. Okay? Sills is talking shit. Okay. Folks, did you run fancy offenses in 22 and 24? Yes or no? You didn't even have a passing game in 25 or 24. You were 29th. You were the 3rd worst football team throwing the ball, and you won the Super Bowl, and you dominated people. Were you a fancy offense in 22 and 24? I thought you just lined up and killed people. That's right, Bob. It was bully ball. You lined up, kicked the shit out of people. Motion. You think that Eagle team in 24 needed motion? They got rid of it after week 4. Stop with the motion. Let's just go out and kill people. And they did. Now, you're going back to motion. That was a failure in 24. Smart. So let me get this right. You're going back to under center, and you're going back to motion. And Kellen Moore was the OC then, but Sean Mannion's smarter. Is that right? You forget that. Kellen Moore was running motion. Kellen Moore had him under center the first 4 games in 2024. They went away from that. Now you're going back to it? Why? Hey, Bob, the smart one's in here. Bob, if you're there, am I right? In 2024, Kellen ran motion the first 4 games of the year. Had Hurts under center. They went into the bye. They said, fuck that. We're coming out of that. And now you're going back to that. Am I wrong, Bob? Bob, you tell me. Now you're going back to what was failing in 24. I get it, I guess. So, get this. What you're doing now, you think you're going to have more success with a first-time play caller when Kellen Moore didn't even have fucking success with an older team in 57 days. Good luck. That's why I don't believe it'll get done. You've already tried this. Hey, the smart people in here, not these fucking dummies, come in here and whatever. Bob, do me a favor. They tried this in 24. Right? No defense is scared of Hurts' passing and will stack the boxes on Barkley. There's not many options when it comes to another swing running back or a decent 2 wide receiver. We have enough dudes on D and can't pay everyone. Sales, they're not going back to it. They're going to a scheme that requires it. It's not motion for motion's sake. It's motion to move the D, to open things up. So you're telling me you think that Sean Mannion has a better grasp of the passing offense than what Kellen Moore does, who had number 1 offense in the NFL twice in his coordinating career? I disagree with that 1,000,000,000%. I completely disagree with that. Sean Mannion, what the fuck would he know? Reading a book? No, I don't. Bob, by the way, I'm not ripping on you, brother. No, I don't think that. That's what the organization thinks. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Kellen passed when he needed to pass. See the Pittsburgh game. He needed to pass. West Coast offense will run the league. Eagles know that they have to adapt because after Barkley, we could be cooked. They are throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. So Carter talked nonsense on team where Harbaugh supports the president. Do these guys ever think I better not get on my head coach's bad side? Carter talked nonsense on team where Harbaugh supports the president. Once again, Carter better show up to practices on time and meetings on time first before he can open his fucking stupid mouth. And Jackson Dart needs to do something as a quarterback in this league before he thinks he's a celebrity or something. Both those guys are idiots. Know who you are. You haven't done shit in this league yet. Like, walk around like you're the president of the United States yourself. Jackson Dart hasn't done dick yet. And Abdul Carter needs to show up to meetings on time and not skip practice. Both those guys are idiots. The Eagles will not be better without AJ. That's just some serious coat. Okay? Because you are. Why do I call you an idiot? Look at your post, jackass. AJ was a great one-on-one receiver. You're going to miss that when it matters. It's funny hearing these Jalenites saying he can pass when he needs to. It's more like, yes, he's had a few good passing games. High percentage of his games, he's incapable of passing effectively. My friend, these are going to be, I disagree with anybody who says these are going to be gradual changes. That's not how the players are talking. Get this. So I'm gonna show you this here too as well. The players are saying it. The trades and the draft and the hiring of Mannion all show it. And yet, some people think it's going to be gradual changes. Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? The players are saying it. The Eagles are not going to be better without AJ, but they may be better than 25. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Eagles get a new coach. You guys are screwed. Any other teams get a new coach, still expects great things. I never said one thing about Christian Parker. I think he's going to be an interesting addition to the Dallas Cowboys. I never told you he was going to turn out to be Buddy Ryan. When did you ever hear me fucking say that? Another made-up story. Shit, you want made-up stories? Go to my X account. Seals asked to have a breakdown soon. Imagine talking about his bullshit team 4 hours a day to a bunch of low IQ dipshits sitting in their mom's extra bedroom. I mean, shooter, some of these guys are just wild. But, they're fans. You got to remember that. Fans are fanatics. They think their thought process is right and how they see things. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Still, I remember the days when we discussed the spin on Hurts' pass. Now we're discussing if he could carry the offense. And make no mistake, the quarterback in the WCO needs to carry the offense, in a West Coast offense. I'll tell you something too, Bob. Jalen Hurts, 22, could carry a team. Jalen Hurts in 24 never carried the team. In 25, he couldn't carry the team. Okay? The best of Jalen Hurts was 22, and that's it. And his smarts. He's a very smart player. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't be shocked one day. I mean, you give Jalen Hurts a passing quarterback, he might be a pretty good coordinator. He might be. Might be a pretty good coordinator for somebody like Josh Allen. He's a pretty smart guy. Now, Sills, it's not good for these dweebs to lie to themselves. That's all they're doing. What's that say about his wheel, Sil? I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't want to run. Turdy, you were tugging off that Cowboy fan, Dirty Sanchez, and Sills, that's because the Hurts of 22 was running a system that fit his skill set. Correct. Look how great he was. Look how great he was. Sub 100-yard games with wins can work when you are stacked, but the talent is starting to diminish. Coyote, A+ for you. That's what's happening with the Eagles. The talent's dwindling on offense. It's dwindling. Here's what's going on with Eagle fans in 26. You're reading the names on the back of the jerseys and you're not seeing reality. You think these guys still have something in the tank. They may. To what level? You think you're going to automatically get healthier as you get older? How many people think that Landon Dickerson's going to be healthier this year? I don't. 14 knee surgeries? Based on what? He will never be what he was in 24 again, ever. He's going to get healthier? Come on, man. That 22 scheme got taken out of the league when the refs enforced the illegal man downfield rule. I'll tell you what, that's a great take. How many times did you catch Dickerson or like Sayamalo downfield illegal? Absolutely. So there's one thing we can agree on is that Hurts is a good situational quarterback. Absolutely, I agree with that. Quarterback, does the West Coast offense help him with that, in your opinion? I can't answer that because I do think he's smart. Martin, he's a smart guy. He sees the game 10 times better than Lamar Jackson does. I completely believe that. He doesn't have near the talent, but talent doesn't always win. Just got accepted to the Brooklyn Journalism College, graduate for sports broadcasting and journalism. Thanks to all of you for seeing it. Kimberly, congratulations to you. You need any help? Let me know. Been doing it 40 years almost. 38, actually. TV, radio, print. There's nothing we haven't done. And been successful at it. Congrats, Kim. Hey, Sills, I have noticed you judge the Eagles harder than any other team. The Cowboys as a whole, not Jerry. You give excuses, too. I give excuses for Jerry Jones never being the worst general manager in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you didn't hear me say that? That he's never been able to replace Jimmy Johnson? And that he's never hired a decent coach except for Bill Parcells? What the fuck are you talking about? When did you hear me say that? That I don't judge the Cowboys. Bro, once again, made up. That's made up. Why are the Eagles trying to run a system where they think they have Jamar Gibbs or CMC? Even CMC is getting scaled back this year. Correct. Let's see. Dude, how many of these names and god dang does this guy have? Marsh, appreciate you, bro. Man, I've had enough, Sills. These comments you're getting about us Eagle fans are Cowboy fans and straight up cowards. Unfortunately, we could talk back because Mark blocks us. I pray one day you and Z screen these bums. Hey, I mean, Dallas Cow, you hear me, Marsh. Dallas Cowboys have never been able to replace the most important player in the room. That's Jimmy Johnson. And they're frauds at how they go about their business. The Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Kardashians. Make it pay off in the fall. That's what I say to them. You've done some nice things. I think you're going to do well. I like Dak. Pay it off. Seals, if you own an NFL team, would you rather have Hurts as your quarterback or Nick as your head coach? I'd rather have Nick as my head coach because I could put that guy on my knee and tell him what to do. That's who I'd rather have. And Nick has been around Phillip Rivers. And Nick has been around progression quarterbacks. So I would go with the ventriloquist doll. I would go with Nick. Yeah. I could put Nick on my knee, tell him what I want, and we'll get it done. By the way, I think he's pretty good at it. Sills, I'm concerned about Jalen picking up the West Coast offense, especially with AJ leaving. This is going to be a very interesting season. Oh, yeah. Hey, Blaine, either you're right, not you, Blaine, but either some of these people are right or I'm going to be 1,000% wrong. That's how I like it. Push the chips in and let's see it roll. Oh, yeah. 57 days to get this bad puppy going. By the way, Farzetta will join us at 4:30. Woo, baby. All or nothing. That's how we like it here, isn't it? All or nothing. I agree. Nick has had success with all style quarterbacks. Jalen needs a special kind of OC. Not a knock on Hurts. Just the player he is. It's not a knock. That's not a knock. Let me ask you this. Brock Purdy needs a special type of coach to coach him and his skill. Stafford does too. Look at Stafford in Detroit versus Stafford in Los Angeles. Do you think there's any difference with Sean McVay? Common sense. Sam Darnold. You think there's any difference with Sam Darnold? Jets. Excuse me. Jets. Vikings and Seahawks. Common sense. I mean, you lost to the most injured team I've ever seen at home. And you think you are still on top. You see here. Let me go down this lane. Let me go down here. Yeah. Okay. Sills, what's the West Coast offense? Is it more short passes? Because if it is, then they're working on what was successful in 22. It is. It's kind of a way of saying, well, think about Brady setting up the run game with the intermediate passing game. It's a timing offense, man. Got to throw on time. Got to get the ball out quick. Remember what I'm telling you here. So I went back and looked at 24. There were motions being run in 24. Hurts was under center the first 4 games. All the things they're doing now or want to do now, why will it be better today than it was with a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator? And he couldn't do it. Because Barkley was there? So you're relying on Barkley then this year. Like you were in 24. Is that right? Fair enough. They tried the motion. Remember that Brazil game? All right. What is it? How many days? 4 days. Damn, AJ. I'll tell you what I did dig Hurts doing. That long pause. That long pregnant pause. What about AJ in your relationship? And he just does this. Hey, I thought that was classic, and I thought that was brilliantly played. I love it. All right, my friends. Mark Farzetta will join us at 4:30. Without further ado, our friend, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing, bro? What's going down?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. 4 days until the A.J. Brown saga is over. Or is it?
I don't know. Did you hear Ian Rappaport today?
I did.
Yeah, he said, that the New England Patriots maybe don't want to give up a one. Kind of makes sense, to be honest with you. When you think about an aging receiver at 32 large with a some knee problems and things of that nature. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, Sills, if a team swoops in. A team like the Chiefs, a team like the Chargers. I don't think Howie would do the Rams thing. I understand the Rams have been a part of it, but I don't think the Rams would be a part of it. I could see the Chiefs and the Chargers swooping in one of those two teams.
Well, here, I'm going to read something one more time to people that this was sent to us about 4 months in January, as a matter of fact. And let me get the exact date here so that I can make sure that this is what we said. And this is what the Patriots said. Here. This was 3.5 months ago. Are the Patriots trading for AJ? I think. The Eagles, but we only want to give up a 2 and 3. Nobody's giving a 1 and 2 for a disgruntled dude. And I think that's still where they are.
Well, will it become a stalemate? Do you think? At what point do you think Howie would accept a lesser deal?
He's a very patient GM. He's not going to let the market beat. He's not going to let the market beat him.
How long do you want to keep him around though through the offseason with all this shit? I know Big Sills wants him to be here for forever because
please never leave
of the content, but like if it becomes a 2 and a 3, you think Howie does it? I don't.
I think this has the potential to go to August, late August. I do.
Well, then you're going to get into a lot of fines.
Well, not only that, then you have the conversation of you have another OTAs coming up after the 4th, right? After June 1. After June 1, you have another OTA.
You have mandatory minicamp June 9th and 10th.
Okay. Well, if he's not there, then it's a massive distraction. And if he's
that's why I'm saying, would Howie cut bait early? Probably not. I'm with you. He tends to wait. I mean, he even waited on Zach Ertz till like week 8 or something. You know what I mean? The middle of the year at the trade deadline. So I'm just wondering what he would take. I do think Howie will get his one. I'm just not sold it's going to be the Patriots. Look, haven't I been saying that for a little bit? I think we've kind of honed in on the Patriots too much. It's not to say that they're not interested in making the move, but Howie's going to try and get the best offer, and he's going to use whatever leverage he has available to try and do that.
Yeah, I'm not budging off the Patriots.
I know you're not. Well, you've made your take.
Yeah,
I think Chiefs or Chargers. Could you imagine him with the Chargers and Justin Herbert?
Could you imagine with Patrick Mahomes?
I know, but Patrick Mahomes is. I'm a little nervous about that injury.
I think Mahomes is gonna be just fine because that guy.
You think so? Remember, he's a mobile guy. You know, he makes a lot of his hay off moving in the pocket. You know.
Yeah, I don't think one injury is going to throw. Tom Brady blew it. Well, Tom Brady was a thrower though, because when he blew his knee out that 1 year, and Tom Brady doesn't use his wheels. So I don't think one injury is going to slow that kid down. And even if
I don't either.
Even if Mahomes comes back 95%, he's still better than any quarterback in the league.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I do think A.J. Brown with Justin Herbert would be a pretty nasty combination. Look, I'm in wait and see mode.
Mike McDaniels.
Right. I'm in wait and see mode on what they get. I mean, I think they're going to get the one. I just, that report was interesting. John kind of poo-pooed this part of it, and I don't think he's right. That maybe the NFL doesn't want it to happen on the first or the second. I mean, John's like, they don't give a shit. And maybe he's right, but I could see that. I mean, look, you know something. It's protecting the shield. You don't want there to be easy thing. If they trade him to the Patriots on June 1st or 2nd, I don't know. Do they take a hit? Probably not. Maybe it doesn't matter, but we'll see. I'm excited to see kind of what happens, but I think what's for sure is AJ will be gone. It's just a matter of time.
If he's gone on June 1, that Rossini and Vrabel story will be brought back to life.
You think so?
Because Diana Rossini was dead on about that. She said he would be dealt on June 1.
Well, maybe. I mean, I haven't heard anything from Diana Rossini. Is she going to try and resurrect her career?
No. I'm just saying that will be brought up. Remember what the first game of the year is.
Right. I think you're right.
Remember what the first game of the year is.
So you're telling me though that you don't think Howie Roseman is trying to get the most offer and shopping him around?
Yeah, I do.
You just think the Patriots will give the best offer?
I think the Patriots have probably had the most dialogue with him, and they're further along than these other teams are.
Yeah, now, dialogue is not going
to say Howie wouldn't go, wait a minute, and pivot to something that's in the best interest.
Dialogue, though. I mean, dialogue. Howie's looking for an offer.
No, I want him out of the AFC. I want him out of the NFC.
It's like somebody's selling their house, and their house is listed at $500,000, and somebody comes in with we had dialogue. I got 400. Somebody comes in with 500. It's like,
well, here's some dialogue for you then to kind of chew on. Would you take a 2 and a 3 from an NFC team, or a 2 and a 3 from an AFC team, or would you take a 1 and a 3 from the Rams?
Me personally, I would take the 1 and the 3 because I'm more subscribed to the philosophy of I got to put my team first. Now, that's not to say that you don't not factor in other teams, obviously, and your preference would always be to send them to the AFC. But I'm not going to sacrifice what my own team can get because I'm afraid or I'm fearful of the Rams being the better team. Fuck that.
So you want the best deal possible then, right?
Yeah. I want the best deal possible. Would you send A.J.
Brown to the Cowboys for George Pickens?
I think George Pickens is a better player right now than AJ.
Okay, would you do that?
I mean,
A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb?
In theory, I guess.
Okay, no, that's why I'm asking you where you are. Would you take the 2 and 3 from an AFC team, or an NFC comes parachuting in and goes, the Rams? I don't want to see A.J. Brown with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford and an AFC.
Well, it depends. It depends on what do you think the Eagles? I mean, nobody will know this, but what do you think the Eagles think of AJ? If they think he's a declining player with a bad knee, then maybe they're okay with it. I'll tell you what, if AJ Brown goes to Matthew Stafford, he'll be getting 1,700 and 1,800 yards this year.
Shit, if he goes to the Patriots, he's going to get 1,500 yards.
I think he'd have the best year in LA. I really do. I think they would use him all over the place. They would get him the ball so many times. Justin Herbert's got such a great arm. I think that would be the best fit for him.
See, to me, I want to send him to a football team that I think is going to have a step back year.
Yeah, and that's not the Chargers.
No. I would. Now,
the Chiefs would be enticing.
The Chiefs, because the Chiefs are at a crossroad, aren't they?
Yeah,
you don't know what they're going to look like.
Yep. Yep.
Right? All right. Let me go over some of the little things and the little nuggets that Big Sills took away from old Jalen Hurts yesterday.
I was thinking yesterday, we talked about this, obviously, and you didn't hear it yet. And I'm thinking, I got off the show yesterday. I'm like, Sileo will be on here tomorrow at 2 p.m. with a completely opposite take of what we just discussed before he listened to it. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
All right here. So, one of the things that stuck out to me, and I wonder, throwing it at you here, he was asked a question about growth. And he said, it is hard to grow with all the changes. My process has not changed at all since college, really. But it has, the changes have made it tough for growth. What'd you take it at? Was that a shot at the organization?
Oh, no, it's not. I mean, maybe he meant it in that way, but my response to him would be, well, welcome to, being an NFL quarterback. There's 21 teams with the new OC this year. Grass isn't greener.
Right.
So unless you got Andy Reid.
Those 21 teams, I guarantee you, are not the elite teams that are in the game today with elite quarterbacks.
Well,
like I would say this, there's no changes in Kansas City. There's no changes in LA.
Those are the only ones, though.
There may be some schematic changes a bit, I would think, probably in Seattle because Kubiak's gone.
Right.
O'Connell's not changing shit.
O'Connell's not an elite guy.
I don't know, dude. I think he's a pretty good coach up there, that Minnesota.
Well, I'm just saying they weren't an elite team last year.
Because they didn't have they didn't have a quarterback to be able to deal with. I think he's a pretty good coach.
I mean, look, there's Andy, there's Kyle, and there's Sean, and then there's everybody else.
What do you make of Liam Cohn down in Jacksonville?
I like him. I mean, they obviously had a great year, so I think he did some good things. Okay. But I mean, look, I think you're still in wait and see mode. That's the other thing with Drake May too. Going back to earlier, like, I like Drake May a lot. Last year, but aren't you kind of still in a little bit of wait and see mode? All right, now team's got a little more tape on him. Let's see what he can do this year. Harder schedule, more expectation. More focus, more tape, all those different things. What does Drake May look like this year? I know what Justin Herbert's going to be.
Well, then I'll add this into. Don't you think Josh McDaniels knows that?
Yeah. I think Josh McDaniels is the perfect coach to manage that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, I want to ask you one last time here on this. You think there's still subtle changes coming and not dramatic changes?
I think it's going to be more dramatic than I was saying a little bit ago, but I don't know to what extreme. I mean, do they live in this other offense and never go back to anything of what they did in the past? That to me feels a little too hard for them to do, or even doesn't really make full sense. So I think it's a bigger change than I was thinking, though.
Jalen said it's very different.
Yeah. I mean, he literally used the phrase West Coast offense yesterday.
Yeah.
That came out of his mouth. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be different. You heard Saquon talk about being under center a lot more. So, I don't know what, how much does it change? Obviously, I think it will change, but again, what's the meat and potatoes and what's the gravy? I don't know. I think the meat and potatoes will be the new offense, but how much gravy will they put from the previous offense? We'll find out.
Well, that was answered by Hurts. Hurts was asked that exact comment. Sean Mannion has come in and said, you guys really did this well. I got to see where that fits in.
Later.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound like, hey, we're going to use a lot of what you guys did. It came back in Hurts' words.
Yeah, right. It's the cherry on top.
See where that fits what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's the cherry on top.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean, because that was exactly what I'm looking for. Jalen, you said it. Jalen saying, this is changes here, dude.
This really comes down to Sills. This really comes down to anybody who's listening right now. Your thought process on this is really going to come down to what your belief level is in Jalen Hurts to run this different style of offense. If you are one of the people that believes that Jalen can run any offense and all of the issues were tied to Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo and the risk-averse approach, well, then you're probably going to be thinking this is going to be a full West Coast approach and Jalen will be perfectly fine. I think where my reservations come in is not that they can't change it or that Jalen is incapable of changing it, but just that changing to that level to me never made a whole lot of sense. I'm not going to turn Big Sills into a reporter, or a guy, Big Sills is
A
Big
news
Sills.
talk guy. I'm not a
Right.
news talk guy.
That's not you. So it's like, why would you do that to Jalen Hurts, who's made his career doing what he does? But at the same time, the offense became stale, predictable, stopped working well. The defenses took away his ability to run. Everyone almost felt like almost every time Jalen scrambled last year, it was like he had a slide behind the line of scrimmage or like a couple yards past the line of scrimmage. So, I think that's what it comes down to. For people who think he can do it, yeah, you're probably looking at a whole different change. The truth will be determined by what Jalen's capability is in the new offense and how well he's able to run it.
And as I said on May 28th, I don't believe with 57 days they're going to get that done like that. I think this is something that evolves, and this is where I'm at. I'm even more convinced now it's not happening. Now, when
what's not happening?
That he's not going to be able to run this offense as efficiently as they want him to.
Well, I guess it depends on whose barometer we're going off of. I mean, what's the barometer? I guess just how good the offense is overall.
Yeah, and what they're going to ask him to do, because here, let's go back to 24. Dude, first 4 games of the year, Kellen Moore asked him to play under center. He asked him, there was motion all over the board. They came out of the bye, it all went away. If Kellen Moore couldn't run that, what they're going to try to accomplish now, how is Sean Mannion going to run that now? Kellen Moore had 2 number 1 rated offenses, passing offenses in pro football. Sean Mannion's never called a play in his entire life in game. Why is he going to be able to do that today where Kellen Moore failed?
Well, Kellen Moore doesn't really run the West Coast offense, right? It is a little different. I don't know. You'd have to tell me.
Yeah.
It's a little, I think your point is right that he tried to run something different than what they were running. I just don't know. Like, does the West Coast work a little bit better for Jalen if that ball can come out on time?
The team's older.
I mean, the thing I like about the West Coast offense in terms of this is there will be moments, not every play and not every call, obviously, but there will be moments where the play dictates to Jalen where to go with the football. And the last time we had an offense that did that, we had Shane Steichen, who ran the RPO a lot, and a lot of that was dictated to Jalen. All right, if the end's cutting down, you know what to do. You know what I mean? Where some of those maybe post snap decision making when it's made for him, could enable him to be better and think less, get the ball out quicker, and do it that way. So I'm not saying it's going to be fully that, but I could see a little bit more of that this year, where Sean's almost thinking. Not to say that he can't process, but I'm not going to sit there and make him process every single play and every single read. Here's a play. If you get this look on defense, the ball's going here. The ball's got to go here in 2 seconds. If it doesn't, you're going to be toast. So I don't know. Maybe there's more of that would help Hurts, work into that offense as compared to what Kellen Moore ran. It says here, I'm just looking it up about Kellen Moore. It says he runs kind of a highly adaptable hybrid scheme that blends West Coast and Air Coryell principles. Yeah. His offense is known for featuring pre-snap motion, quick hitting passing concepts, and heavy play action. I mean,
well, that's exactly what they tried to do in 24.
It's pretty similar to what they're apparently trying to do now.
And why would I think that Mannion's going to be a better coordinator than Kellen Moore with an older team? I just don't get that. I mean,
I don't think he will be either, but
here,
there's degrees to success, right? Like he could have some success. Yeah. I mean,
okay. I'm going to make a comment here, and I know you're probably going to disagree with me. I think the Super Bowl window for the Eagles was 22 and 24, 22 through 24, and I'll tell you why. Funny. I mean, I remember those 22 and 24 teams. They didn't have motion. They didn't have fancy shit. They just lined up and beat the fuck out of you. You didn't have no fancy offense at 24. You didn't even have a passing game. You just killed teams. You had about 6 plays. You ran it down to people's throats, and you annihilated people at the point of attack. Now, Zander, you want to play under center. You want to have motion. You want to have 5 more wide receivers. It's almost like you're trying to trick people. Before, you never tricked people in 22 and 24. You lined up and beat people up. Sounds to me like you're getting away from that a little bit, from beating people up. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly going to be a little bit more finesse. I mean, even if it's not fully finesse, it's definitely going to be a little bit away from that. But still, that didn't work all that good that year, And maybe that style if you remember back to 24 before we won the Super Bowl, this is not just a non-Eagle fan thing. Eagle fans were wondering, can we win this way? Can we go the distance running the ball to this level, beating teams up? They obviously did it. The rest is history. But maybe that shelf life was as
I
short
wasn't sold until Baltimore.
John wasn't sold until the damn near the freaking second game of the playoffs.
Yeah, I wasn't sold until when they beat Baltimore, I went, they're going to win this thing, it looks like. They're going to win it. Bro, they were like, after that bye, if you really look at it and go back, they were never challenged. The Rams game was probably the most challenging game the rest of the way until the Lombardi Trophy was hoisted. Do you agree? The Ram game.
Yeah, the Ram game was a battle. The playoff game in the snow, that was a great game. That was a great freaking game. Boy, that was a hell of a Super Bowl run. That was a cool Super Bowl run, man. It had a little bit of everything. Then we beat the brakes off the Washington Communists.
They beat the brakes off the KC Chiefs, too.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, how did you not love – I tell you what I did love with Hurts on that presser, man. As soon as the A.J. Brown question was asked, he just goes like –
dude, that was so funny. That's where Jalen Hurts is just a PR machine, dude. The guy knows how to do it.
That was a GOAT move.
It really was. It really was.
He never answered the question, but he gave the best answer you could possibly give.
Well, I thought he said some interesting things,
He goes like this. He goes, "You're never going to replace the success that me and him had. That will never be replaced." And I just thought that whole pause was something out of Hollywood. It was such a fucking GOAT move.
Well,
that was one of my favorite Jalen Hurts moments was that moment there when he did that.
Well, when he sipped the water and said,
when he sipped the water, put it down, had a timely pause.
Well, John was in the room and he said that was actually not as timed as you think. Like he started picking that water up before that question got asked. So I thought it was pretty witty, pretty good off the cuff moment there for Jalen Hurts. But I gotta say, I loved the wedding troll. I thought was hilarious. Where he's like, "Yeah, looks like the pictures turned out good." I thought that was so freaking funny. Jalen Hurts trolling because he knows everybody's making a huge stink about him not going to the wedding or whatever. But I thought that was pretty funny. I thought Hurts was good yesterday. I mean, it's just a press conference. It's nothing anything big or anything. But Hurts normally does pretty good at the mic, and we'll see what it looks like Sills when the year rolls around.
I'll tell you what, he definitely goes like this. It's a different look. There's no doubt there's going to be a different approach. And I'm just following the new boss. And I'm going with what we're doing here. And believe me, it's very different. And I was like, wow. I mean, he's putting it out there, dude, And the way he talked, it made it seem this. I got to buy in.
Yeah, and you did notice that too, right? I mean, he really put it on Mannion. Yeah.
He did.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, but there is a lot of.
You're going to make these gigantic changes that I think is coming. I am too going to put it on him.
Well, I agree. That would be interpreted.
I'm not absolving Hurts from not performing.
That's where I'm going. I mean, you can't do that, but I think the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. People will decipher that differently than other people will, which is fine. But part of me thinks when you have 8 different coordinators, you might as well just have the approach. Fucking this thing's on me. This thing's on me. Put it on my shoulders because I already know that you guys are going to be coming and going every single year anyway. So I don't love actually the skating, the phrasing of that, in my opinion, but it is clear that the Eagles, as an organization, have given Sean Mannion the reins of the offense.
Do you agree that they've probably given him more control of this offense than any other coordinator they've had since Nick Sirianni's been the head football coach?
That's what it looks like.
How about this? It sure sounds that way to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Do you think it's also maybe Jalen rebuking some of the previous reports? You remember the ESPN reports that came out, where he was doing a lot of the calling at the line of scrimmage and things of that nature where, I did wonder, is Jalen maybe correcting some of those things, on the record now this time.
Smart. I didn't think of that, but yeah. I thought he changed some of the narrative to yesterday. I'm buying in. I'm gonna listen. This is him. That's not what was said in the articles with Tim McManus.
Well, what do you think the best case scenario for the Eagles offense is this year?
That it's a slow build to being successful in 27.
Geez, I hate that answer. I get why you say it, but I don't like it.
Well, you didn't click in 17 weeks. All of a sudden now you're going to click in 4?
Yeah, it's true.
I just don't like. I mean, you're asking Devontae to do different things. You're asking Devontae to do things he's never done in 5 years, moving him around all over the field.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is capable of running this offense that they're talking about at a high level?
I tell you what I think he's capable of doing. And this is where I think he has a top 5 quarterback skill. He's like a coordinator out there that has 10 bad plays, but makes the one play to make the play to win. And to me, that is an innate thing that he has that a lot of people don't have. He sees the game better than a lot of folks out there. I think his adversities in his life as a player, all the changes, all the things, dude, he's a smart guy. He's a smart ball player. I mean, one thing you'll have to give him, I think he's smarter than Allen. I think he's smarter than Lamar. I think he's smarter than a lot of these elite guys. But again, those guys are carried by talent. Jalen Hurts is carried by talent around him and his own ability to see the game. His smarts win. Like Brady. Brady was smart. Brady was never overly skilled.
Well, it depends. I mean, I guess it depends. What's your definition of smart here?
Football smart.
I do think Jalen is a smart dude, but,
football in-game smart.
Is processing smart?
Yes, but he has a different. He's not a good processor. He panics in the pocket, but he doesn't panic in game.
That's true.
He doesn't panic in the game.
I agree with that.
He'll take a sack. He'll take 4 sacks, but that's not going to keep him down.
He never panics. You could never say that about him.
No,
definitely not.
I would never ever go like this. The guy panics.
Yeah, no.
Nick
Sirianni panics. I mean,
yes.
You can see it when his emotions get high. Jalen is not that guy at all.
So let me go here with Barkley. I thought Barkley said some really interesting things here, at least for me. The first thing I noticed was Todd Gurley immediately made me go to Sean McVay. Because when you look at Todd Gurley's success in 17 and 18, they spread the ball around. He caught the ball. Dude, he had 84 targets both those years. So is Saquon Barkley going to be the second option in that offense? Remember what the option was that year? It was Cooper Kupp.
I don't know. You want to turn Saquon into a perennial pass catcher?
Why is he bringing up Todd Gurley then?
I mean, I think just based on what he said, because Todd's got a lot of experience in different schemes.
In the McVay scheme.
I know, but dude, Saquon, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
He's played for 2 teams.
Does everybody? I'd be curious to see what the people in the chat say. Would you guys feel good about Saquon getting 5, 6, 7 targets in the pass game per game? I don't know. I mean, it feels like to me, and this is just my memory, and hey, maybe it's foggy, maybe it's not working so good. To me, every time Saquon got thrown the ball, whether it was a good throw or not, he was bobbling it, he was fumbling it. He just doesn't. He's not a sure-handed guy. I mean, even in the catch he made in the Super Bowl, I remember he bobbled it on the side. It was a perfect throw by Jalen. He bobbled it up on the sideline.
Okay, so would you rather throw to Barkley or would you rather throw to a rookie?
Probably the rookie.
Okay.
I mean, and if the rookie's worth a damn, the rookie.
Okay, well, Barkley in space or Mekhi Lemon in space?
Well, Barkley in space is a different question. Throwing the ball to him, though? If my only way to get him in space is throwing it to him, and then
Barkley does not have the skill set of Todd Gurley.
I agree.
And Barkley, get this, Todd Gurley can block. Okay, so
Dude,
that's
Brian Westbrook could catch Brian Westbrook could catch the football, dude.
That's one of my favorite Eagles, bro.
Brian Westbrook could catch the ball. I mean, with all due respect to Saquon Barkley, just a different skill set. He does not catch the football like that.
Dude, my opinion, Shady's better.
Shady and Westbrook. I mean, they were both incredible at it.
Incredible.
But I just haven't seen that.
You get Shady in the snow, dude. That guy ran he had cleats on,
that was
connected to the floor. I mean, he was so wild in that. What was that game? Was that a playoff game or something? He went for 200 yards in the snow. Was it against the Skins? I don't know. I remember watching that game. I'm going, how come everybody else is falling down and Shady's not?
Yeah,
Shady's not falling down.
He's running around everybody and spin moving and hurdling and shit. Shady was a savage runner. But no, I mean, look, I just haven't seen that from Saquon. That's my only concern there. I'm not saying that I don't want to get him the ball in space. I don't know. Sometimes I hold my breath when they throw him the football because it always feels like he's bobbling it a little bit.
Atlanta, right?
Well, that was one of them, but I mean, there were some other ones too where, he doesn't always catch the football.
He said something pretty interesting. I'm excited to work with Mannion. Okay. That's for the presser. Building my relationship. Okay. You know what building the relationship means to me? And remember, Jalen said this, every rep in the OTAs and what we're doing now is pivotal. Why? Because you're going to get a sense on how that guy's going to call plays during a game. And that's the same thing I took away from Barkley, building the communication reps up. Because when you listen to Zach Bond talking at the presser, talking about Vic, he's like, we're adding. We're bringing this. We're putting this in. We're adding on top of what. When I hear the Eagle offensive players talking, we're starting from square one. That's a way different conversation, don't you think, Z?
Absolutely.
They're starting from almost like square one here.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it could be that might not be a bad thing. I mean,
only if you take it as a bad thing. All I said was it sounds to me like they're starting from square one there.
Yeah, I think that's somewhat fair, versus like you just said, you drew the comparison to what Bond said about Vic. Yeah, obviously. But remember, even with Bond saying that, Vic's defense in year one here might not be topped. Clint Kubiak and Sam Darnold in year one, they figured it out. That's the only point I was making earlier about the Jalen comments with put it on Sean is like, I get it. It's a factor in your career without a doubt. There's no excuses to be made. All right. These are professional football players, professional coaches, highly paid quarterbacks. Get the job done. I don't need an out. Oh, well, if it goes to shit, blame Sean. Fuck that. If it goes to shit, all you guys are getting blamed.
That's right. You are. How about Barkley going? Obviously, this is very different stuff than what I've done since I've been here.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll ask you this. Under center is going to help. So let me add the question here. You think under center is going to help Hurts more or Barkley more?
Barkley more. For sure. I don't think under center will help Hurts, really. I mean, maybe it will a little bit if it sets up play action, but that's never really been his game. So, again, that would be a new element to his game. Now, hey, maybe he comes out and he does it super well. He talked about wanting to master the position, and playing under center with play action is a part of that. So, maybe he takes the next step there, but I think that helps Saquon way more.
I think one of the things that Hurts doesn't like playing under center because he's got to turn his back to the defense.
Yeah, and it's a more traditional pocket.
You don't have as much time to process.
Right. And it's a more traditional style of offense for a quarterback that's really not Jalen Hurts' skill set.
I know.
But you're right. I mean, you turn the back and you look up and you got a split second to get the ball out.
Yep. How about when he said that, Barkley said that he needed to be more explosive. And he needed to be a better player this year because he didn't really think he was explosive this past year. What'd you make of that?
Oh, I think he's right. I mean, I like to hear some accountability, but I think we can all agree it wasn't all Saquon that wasn't explosive last year. Not to say he was perfect, but yeah, I mean, it's good. I think he talked about too this season ending a lot earlier, where he's got had a little bit more time to fuel up the body, rest the body, and prepare himself for the season. So I thought that was a fine answer. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Yep. How about when he said that we're going to be blocking differently this year than we have in recent years?
Yeah. Well,
What'd you take it at?
That's the outside zone, and then you just wonder what does it look like with the O-line? I mean, does Dickerson fit that? I think he would be my biggest concern. Lane, I'm pretty good on Lane if he's healthy. Mailata, I mean, he's always been. Remember, Mailata came from a background where he was a damn near running back in rugby. You hold the ball and you truck dudes. So I think he's got plenty of experience. Using his athleticism. Landon, to me, is the guy who's just a pure mauler. So what does that look like for him if he has to get out in space or do some of those things differently? I don't know. I mean, I'm good with it because last year obviously didn't work well, but I'm curious to see what that looks like for Landon.
Yeah, I mean, me too, dude. I'm with you on this. I'm looking forward to seeing this here. Okay, so I loved what he said about AJ. He said this. He goes, "You're never going to get me talking bad about AJ. Teammates loved him. I loved him. He was great in the locker room. He was just an absolutely fabulous teammate. And I absolutely thought that was a professional answer, an awesome answer. And I think that puts to rest all the fans that are saying that this guy was splitting a locker room up. That doesn't sound like a guy like to me that was splitting locker rooms up. He was just speaking the truth. And unfortunately, sometimes when you speak the truth, right?
Believe me, I know.
You get hammered, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, look, it was a good comment for him. Saquon obviously likes AJ. It feels like, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but it does feel like the rift is clearly between either AJ and Jalen or AJ and Nick. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
One or the other. And maybe it's both. I don't know. But it feels like that's
AJ. I think it's AJ and Nick.
Jalen's just a mature dude. Like, he handled it, obviously, with maturity yesterday. Didn't add any fuel, kind of gave him his credit.
Do you know what I thought of when I heard that comment?
Which one?
I wonder how McNabb would have handled that, being asked that question. Just shits and giggles. I wonder how McNabb would have handled that.
I don't think he would have handled it the same way Hurts handled it.
No way.
Yeah, no.
No way would he have handled that.
Yeah, I mean, look, those are the things that I say all the time that I like about Jalen. I mean, I understand why Jeffrey Lurie wants him to be the face of his organization. I understand it completely.
Yep.
But yeah, Jalen's a mature dude. He handled it well. I thought it was a good response. But again, I'm more focused on the football field, and you are losing a great player. Let's not discount that because we got a good press conference answer.
You know what? I'm going to say something to you here that it's going to be kind of crazy here. So I watched that Jordan Davis conversation. The kid's starting to, he's starting to like, I don't know. I'm starting to like the kid. Like,
yeah, I don't. You've always liked him.
I have. I just think it's underachieved a little bit, but had a great year a year ago. And I made the comment earlier. I think he's just a better leader than Jalen Carter.
Oh, he definitely is. But they're different. I mean, Jalen Carter is more of a quiet, reserved dude. And I think Jordan is more like, he reminds me of Brandon Graham, or N'Kobe. Jalen Carter is more like, he's just like a mean motherfucker who wants to play and dominate, and that's his form of leadership. He's not really the vocal guy, and I think that's fine. I think where Carter just has to correct himself is you can't be a leader on the team no matter how good you are if you make stupid decisions consistently. And you have to get rid of those stupid decisions. He's a young guy. I think Carter deserves some slack, but, the thing with Dak, obviously. Dude, you got to cut that shit out.
I don't think he's a team. I don't think he has a team mentality. He has a me mentality. And until that gets straightened out, when you spit on people, that's a team casualty thing. That hurts your team, you not being out there. You understand what I mean, Zander?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I mean, that you have to think about your position on your football team.
But you also do like you want him to have that a little bit. I'm not saying you want him to spit on.
You don't want to coach. You don't want to
You
coach.
want him to be mean though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what like you always say. Oh, you think we're going to win a Super Bowl with choir boys?
No.
Carter's a big fucking defensive tackle who wants to beat people up, and if somebody gives him a hard time, he wants to fuck them up even more. I think that's a good thing. You just got, Carter.
Pick your spots better.
Right. Pick your spots. Work within the. I know it's hard. Believe me, you're talking to a guy that tried to break every rule just because there was a damn rule who said I couldn't do it. I want to break those rules. I get it, Carter. But, just try and operate within the lines a little bit. And I think Carter will be in a good spot.
Is Tariq Woolen really 6'4"?
Yeah. Dude, he's huge. He's lanky, too.
Is he the tallest corner in the league?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to look that up.
By the way, you see what Derwin James got paid?
Yeah, 25.2 or something. The tallest corner in NFL history. Is that right? No way. Tyrone Broden?
Okay. What is he, 6'5"?
6'5".
Okay. Guy we've had on this
Nick
show.
Woolen are 6'4", and Nashawn Wright.
6'4" is gargantuan out there.
Huge. I mean, you heard Vic. He was like, you don't even see 6'2" or 6'1" that often.
No way. 5'11", 6 feet.
Yeah.
I think the guy who just got the most money in the league, the kid from Kansas City now with the Rams, I think he's 5'11". If I'm not mistaken, I think that kid's 5'11".
He's 5'11", Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, Trent McDuffie's 5'11". Bro, you don't see 6'4". I mean, bro, that guy, you're talking about covering half the fucking field.
I know. The thing is, you need the athleticism, obviously, to stay with these dudes. So I think Woolen has it. I think Vic, dude, that to me, Sills, that signing feels like a Vic Fangio home run where maybe he never got never played up to it, or maybe there's some red flags with behavior or things of that nature in Seattle. But, the old Grizzly, Vic Fangio, gets his hands on him, and he gets him to play at an all-pro level or a Pro Bowl level. I could see that this year.
Just a couple things here with Zach Bond. By the way, our boy will join us at the bottom of the hour. Guys, throw some supers. We'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hit the like button. What do you think the loss of Nakobe Dean is going to be?
Leadership more than anything. I think on the field they'll be all right. I mean, he was good blitzer, good against the run. I'm a little concerned, not concerned, but I'm waiting to see how the run defense looks this year, because they struggled against the run last year until Nakobe returned, really. Now maybe Carter helps that, maybe Davis helps that, but I think it'll be all right, honestly. Vaughn made me feel better about that. Did you hear his answer about the loss of Nakobe? He kind of was like, we got a lot of leaders. We got a lot of good guys in the locker room. We got Jihad stepping up, so – and also, apparently, Trotter's having a good start, too, to camp. John told me the conditioning of Jeremiah Trotter is like they were running the box drills at the end of practice. And John was saying that's a kind of a daunting drill in terms of cardio. He was like, Jeremiah Trotter was going. He could still be going. He was joking. Like, that's how good he looked. He wasn't breaking a sweat doing it. So maybe that's a good sign for Trotter. He's working his ass off with his pops probably. But I feel all right about linebacker. I feel better. And remember, Nakobe was a guy I didn't want to let go. I just think he was a great football guy, great leader, great football player. But I understand why they did it, and I think they'll be all right.
Box drill. They got these 3 boxes. Boom, 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 boom. Grass drill, up, grass drill, up, grass drill, go.
That's a painful drill.
Yeah, and you do that about 6 times. Believe me, you're gassed.
Yeah, it's like a suicide in hockey.
Yeah. It's like that shit. All right, Z, what's your biggest concern heading into training camp for this football team then?
My biggest concern is still offense, just what they're going to be this year.
Narrow it down. What do you mean by offense?
Just how effective they're going to be. They haven't really been, and really passing wise. They've been a good running team, and what is it going to look like in the passing game? Is this fix gonna make it better again? Are they going to be able to? I know a lot of people have talked themselves into this, and me included, where all right, we'll be good without AJ, but dude, that is losing a big player.
Oh,
if you tell the the Rams are going to lose Puka Nacua, or you tell, I don't know, one of these other teams, the Cowboys, that they're going to lose CeeDee Lamb, or that's going to be a little bit of a concern. So it's not to say that I don't think they can overcome it, but that is probably one of my bigger concerns, is just what that looks like. Interior of the O-line is a big one. And then I guess safety, I don't know. I feel okay about safety, so I wouldn't even put that up there that high for me. I just like the secondary as a whole, and I think it'll make the safeties better. I think Makuba showed some real good things, in his second half of his starting games last year. And then Marcus Epps I'm okay with. So I feel all right about most of the safety stuff, but that's where I would go. Offense, receivers, interior O-line, and then I guess some secondary safety.
So you feel pretty good about you feel better about the defense or the offense?
Defense.
I
think the defense has the chance to be a top 3 unit.
Top 3 unit.
I mean, I think they have the chance to be. I'm not predicting that. I think they have the chance to be if the offense can carry their weight, if the defense can play up to the standard that we're expecting. I think the defense has super high potential.
Boy, I'll tell you, I think this is going to be one of the most interesting starts to the season. I think the start to the season is really going to be, I don't know what to expect. I mean, you guys.
How close to the vest do you think they'll keep it at preseason
I think they're going to keep a lot to the vest, because here's what the advantage you have. The unknown also is defending and coordinating. Now, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, if you're Dan Quinn and you're hearing them talk like this,
right
now, is that a smokescreen? Is that reality? How much of it is it? Because if I'm getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles now, and I'm hearing all this, I'm seeing all this, and I saw the hirings, I'm thinking this. They're making dramatical changes here. To what level, though? How do you game plan in that first month of the season?
Yeah, well,
not knowing what the Eagles are going to look like.
Sills, you dubbed it. It's Liars Month, dude. Remember I said to you a couple weeks ago, dude, there's a chance the first 4 weeks they look good, and then, things temper out, because you're going to, teams are going to start to understand, okay, this
or
is
vice versa.
Well,
they don't look good and they pull it together and they look great going down the finish.
That would be obviously ideal, but I think
that would be ideal.
I think the advantage at the beginning is exactly what you said. I mean, nobody knows what the hell they're going to do. I mean, the Eagles, the reporters don't even know what they're going to. Nobody knows what they're going to do. So it's not like you can even do any due diligence on it. Now, maybe we'll learn a little bit more, but you're right. Is it a smokescreen? Is it not? I don't know. Remember, that Commander defense really struggled against the run last year. So if I'm the Eagles, are you sure you want to come out and throw the ball all over the yard? Are you sure you don't want to bash their face in with Saquon Barkley in the O-line? I don't know.
2 last things here for you. Is there any scenario you see they keep AJ?
Nah, not right now.
I'm not giving him away.
I'm not either. So I guess that would be the scenario. I mean,
and plus I would tell you, or could you see this? Remember what they did with James Bradbury? They paid him $12 million.
Yeah.
Sat his ass on the bench, didn't they? You think they could hold his ass until the trading deadline and not play him?
That's a long time, dude. And I don't think you're getting a 1 at the trading deadline.
You don't think there'll be a panic team?
Another year basically off his deal. You're getting him for half a season. I'm not doing that if I'm another team. I think the Eagles should trade him now if they're going to trade him.
Would you do the 2 and 3?
No. Get the 1. You can get it.
Holy shit. Claude Lemieux died? Get the fuck out of here. Is that right? Is that true? No. Claude Lemieux died? Did that really happen? No.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Devils.
Oh, my God. I got to retweet that. That's awful.
Oh, wow. It's suicide.
Oh. Dude, I met that guy. That guy was an ass kicker, bro. Man, That guy won 3 Stanley Cups with Bro Door and them dudes,
I
man.
know.
He was a fucking bitch.
He had no relation to Mario Lemieux,
No,
right?
no,
They were different.
No, no. All right, see, let's read these supers. Guys, I so appreciate you sending them in here at the end. Thank you, please.
Here's Mikey Shred. What's up,
Well,
dude? After the Patriots found out they play Seattle week 1, you know they are giving Howie what he wants. Also, rest in peace, Claude.
no doubt. Oh, my God. A.J. Brown, the reason that Diana Rossini got fired on that Patriots team week 1 versus Seattle. Bro, that's a tough – you don't tell me you don't think the NFL wants that. AJ, Vrabel, Seattle, first game of the year. Ratings will be fucking over the top, dude. Wow.
Ratings are going to be good anyway.
And they're going to be
Here's
good
Marsh.
anyway.
What's up, Marsh? Marsh, thanks for all your support today, dude. A lot of supers from you. We appreciate you.
He is awesome.
He says this, the writing on the wall for Nick, they're telling us he is a stiff, but all the focus is on what Hurts can and can't do. It's definitely going to reveal itself this year. If Nick was so solid, they wouldn't change.
I think a lot of things are going to – hey, Marsh, I think a lot of things this year, you'll have answers in December.
I don't really agree with him, though. So you think just because a coach is good, they'll never change an offense?
No.
That's what I mean. I just don't agree with that part.
Hey, Marsh, Don Shula went from a running coach in the 1970s. All of a sudden, Dan Marino parachutes in, and they go to the most prolific passing attack in pro football history. That coach evolved into being a passing coach. So I think if you're a good coach, you evolve with the players around you, don't you?
I agree. Here's Marsh again. Marsh, thanks, dude. I'm telling y'all, it's freaking Nick. They was told not to ask Nick about AJ, Bob Lang special. They asked Hurts straight out of the gate. The owner wanted to fire Nick. They hired a coordinator and gave him autonomy. Nick sucks.
Well, you're either in the camp of Jalen Hurts sucks, or you're in the camp of Nick sucks.
Or if you're a rare breed like Dan Sileo, you're in the camp that both of them suck.
No, I think one sucks less. I actually, if I had to pick one, I would pick the ventriloquist doll and put him on my knee, and I would take the guy and have the ventriloquist doll because I don't really like the quarterback that's limited in what he does. So I'll take the ventriloquist doll.
I think both Nick and Jalen are in a way underrated by some people. I mean, I don't think they're like the world beaters, but I think Nick's underrated. I think Jalen is in some areas too. But Jalen's got to be better. I mean, you can't be the quarterback of the 24th ranked offense or whatever the hell it was, and and not expect to not get some shit, especially from a guy like Big Sills.
How do you think Nick performed last year? Not just Hurts. How do you think Nick performed last year as a head coach?
Not great. Not great. He didn't have answers.
Okay.
He didn't have answers. Nobody had answers, though. Remember, Stoutland didn't have answers. It actually got better when they went away from what Stoutland was doing.
So do you think that Nick is a product of the talent around him, or do you think Nick's a product of his coaching acronym?
I think every coach is a product of their talent around them.
Okay. So Belichick, too, when the talent –
I'm just saying,
when the talent fades in New England, you don't have Brady and you don't have any of those guys up there. All the people that you brought in, no matter how good a coach you are, if you don't have the Jimmies and Joes, it's over, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that goes for every sport. Like look at John Tortorella right now. That's what I mean.
John Tortorella tells the Flyers last year, "I don't want to coach his fucking team." He grabs the Vegas Golden Knights late in the year, and he takes them to Stanley Cup. Get this, he could become one of only 8 coaches in the history of the NHL to win the Stanley Cup, taking over for a team. And this would be a second Stanley Cup championship, one with the Lightning. And I love John Tortorella.
I'm a Tortorella guy too.
I love Torts.
I guess I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter that I would reveal this, but Tortorella is he is a new Cape May guy. I met him in Cape May.
No way.
Yeah, he bought a dope house in Cape May Point.
Flyers money got him a nice house there, I guess, right?
Well, I was actually out for a bike ride, and I was over in the Point because I like riding over there.
Make sure if you see him again, you make sure you said Sileo said hi. He loves me.
I will. I drove by him, and I'm like, I don't want to mess up your vacation, but I'm a big fan, Coach. Good to see you down here. I hope you're enjoying K-Man. He talked to me all about my bike. I had like a 25-minute conversation with him. I told him I played hockey. We talked a little hockey, talked where he coached, talked Rangers because my brother was with me. He was a Rangers fan. And he loves Cape May. I think he still got the crib, even coaching out in Vegas.
That's great. Make sure you.
So I met him down there. It's pretty cool.
I love John Tortorella.
He's a cool dude. He's exactly like he is on camera.
Yep.
Was exact. And he was driving a big Husky brand new GMC 2500 pickup truck. It was a badass truck.
I love him so much, man. He is just a no shit guy, dude.
All right, here we go. We got a couple more supers. Kimberly said, I think Howie's about to make a move
for Garrett.
A trading move for Garrett. I don't see it.
I think that Garrett conversation's there still. I don't know how big though. I don't think it's a meteor kind of thing. But I do think Cleveland's listening. Seems to
Kyle.
be true.
I agree. Sills and Zander. I was at school. This girlfriend 12 years later, we turned around the worst warehouse. This girl.
And 12 years later, we turned around.
The fuck, Kyle?
Kyle, I appreciate the super, though, man. Thank you.
Kyle, wake up and smell the fucking roses. Mike says Claude Lemieux was tough until he met Darren McCarty. That's a good name pull right there.
Bro, man, I'll tell you what, those Red Wing and Avalanche.
That's why Mike brought Darren McCarty up, because Darren McCarty was a badass bruiser for the Red Wings.
Hey, that Red Wings Avalanche, that was one of the greatest rivalries of all time. One of the biggest fights. They were just fucking. I can't.
Wow, Darren McCarty actually put out a video today, Mike. I'm not sure if you see it. I didn't listen to it yet, but before it was released, Darren McCarty put out a video today on the passing of Claude Lemieux.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you tag me in that and like forward that to my ex? I'd like to see.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send me that link. Okay.
It's on Instagram. I'm not a big Instagram user here, but
so yeah, I feel like there have been a lot of Philadelphia-based leaks. They're talking about this AJ Brown. Dude, I think there's a lot more teams involved in this thing here.
I do too. You just shot me down. You think it's Patriots? I got the Chiefs and the Chargers.
I think it's Patriots, but I think a lot of teams are starting to. I think they're starting to really.
It depends how high the Patriots are willing to go. Like if somebody comes in and pushes the number up, are the Patriots willing to meet it?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And also the other factor will be it depends on who Howie thinks will have a worse year. Because he's going to want the better first. So
absolutely,
that'll be a factor too. But all right, Sills, good show, man. I think we got all the supers.
Thank you so much, Z. I'll tell you what, I'll catch you in the morning there with John. Appreciate you guys, what you do there at Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sills. Later, brother.
You got it, man. All right. I'll tell you what, man. I got some takeaways here with Jalen Hurts and with Saquon Barkley and my Paisan brother here. We're going to break these down here, but what do we got here? How many days? We got 4 days of A.J. Brown content. And I'm going to ask Farzetta, do you believe that the Philadelphia Eagles will be better or worse without him moving forward? Is this going to be a better football team? It might be a calmer noise in the locker room, but hell, noise versus talent. Howie Roseman always said, hey, the idea of being a GM is acquiring talent, not letting it go. Well, that's kind of shooting itself in the face here right now a little bit. So without further ado, the man who predicted that Daryl Morey would be blown. Oh, wait, that was Angelo. This is the other Italian. My friend, Mark Farzetta, joins us now here on the program. How you doing, Farzi?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't know if you could be excited about this or not, but I just poured concrete for the first time in my life. I know that might come as a shocker. And let me tell you, it's standing strong. It's not like, still mushy or whatever. I didn't use the Quickcrete stuff anyway. I didn't use that. That's the Atlanta Braves uniform. I'm not using that. To me, I just used the regular stuff and chef's kiss. Let me tell you, I may have missed my calling. Well,
it's in the blood, so you have to understand that. I mean, so let me tell you. So did you lay the rock?
Yes. Okay. Laid it all down.
Did you put the fencing above it?
Yes. To mark it off, you mean?
Yes. to mark it off.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Okay?
absolutely. Don't want the kids with the next piece I do, they'll put the footprints in it,
Yeah.
draw their initials, that whole thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you level it?
Not to be a jerk, but with a level. I smoothed
Okay.
it out real nice.
You'd be shocked.
Smooth.
Some of my wait a minute. I got Uncle Dominic, okay? And I'm going
Okay.
to tell you about my Uncle Dominic. My Uncle Dominic put a patio for my grandpa back in the day. And we could drop a golf ball at the door and it would go to the corner of the room over there. So I just want you to know that that's not always as easy as you think.
Yeah, I have a 4-foot level and I put it on a 6x6 board I had that was not warped or anything. I checked for that. I went ahead and lined it up and it was straight. And I used that to make sure that it was all nice and level. There you go.
Okay, so let's go into your boys here, man. You know how to lay concrete. Let's see if you know how to lay some takes down here with this AJ Brown thing.
Oh, AJ was in the concrete. I didn't tell you that part of it. Come on now.
Very Italian.
Right.
Very Italian. Thank you
I
very
had
much.
to. There you go.
That is very good. Thank you very much. That is a lot of Italian right there.
Sorry.
And yes, like a good union leader. All right. AJ Brown, man. I mean, will the team be better or worse without him?
Yeah, I always tend to side on the go to the side of you don't get better by getting rid of great players, and I know that's exactly what Howie Roseman has been saying this entire time, and that's not a lie. I do find it interesting though. Well, here's what I'm intrigued. To answer your question, no, I don't believe you get better. But the question is, can you get back to what you were doing as an offense 2 years ago, not last year? And I think they can absolutely do that. Do you get better by getting rid of A.J. Brown? I don't think so. Is it the addition by subtraction? I understand why Paulie Pom-Poms might be over there talking about how, oh, no, it's going to be less of a distraction for the locker room, less pressure on Jalen. I can almost see that argument, but it's not really even about the numbers for A.J. Brown or how much better or worse the team will be overall without him. For me, it still comes down to how well can you run this offense, and you have a much different receiving room without A.J. Brown than you do with A.J. Brown. With A.J. Brown staying in Philadelphia, you don't get Dontavian Wicks. You don't probably get Hollywood Brown. You definitely don't draft Mekhi Lemon. So for me, there's not one person I look at that's going to pick it up for A.J. Brown. It's going to be a multitude of guys. Now, also with that being said, you might look at it as more of a team game and focusing in on wide receiver. That could be better, but I am not going to make the blanket statement. I'm not going to agree with the blanket statement that because you got rid of AJ, you're better. That just, it doesn't work like that.
Here, if you can, you and I were going back and forth back in 2022 and 24. We were all talking, you and I were talking about how the football team performed. And I'm going to make this comment. Then I got another follow-up with this. So in 2022 and 24, I think that's your Super Bowl window. Because follow me and you tell me if you disagree, Farzy. You weren't really creative in the offensive game plan. You lined up and kicked the shit out of people. You weren't really a team that was looking for motions and under center and 5 different wideouts that you talked about. You lined up. You didn't even have a passing game in 24. You were 29th. You just lined up and killed teams. Now you're going to be, let's get motion. Let's get them under center. Let's throw across the middle of the field. Let's have a short passing game. I'm like, boy. So you're trying to mask things that you didn't have to do before, but now you're going to do them. Before you just lined up and killed teams. Now you're going to start doing fancy things that you've never done before in your past. You're going to be more of a finesse team. Before you lined up and punch people in the face, everyone's got a plan, like Tyson says, until you get hit in the head. I mean, you're kind of getting away from who you are a little bit, aren't you? From being the dominant team to being a finesse team here by doing all these fancy things that you've never done before in the entire Sirianni era.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say to that. Andy Reid always banged the drum for the West Coast offense and how great the West Coast offense was. Man, you wait till you get this West Coast offense. I'm going to tell you how great this West Coast offense was. Well, the West Coast offense looked real brilliant when T.O. got here. You know what I mean? It was pretty good beforehand, but you weren't winning the Super Bowl. You weren't getting to a Super Bowl without him. And I know he wasn't there at the end of the season, as we all know the history there. No need to go over the lesson, but they were a much better team, the best version of themselves with T.O. here. The reason I bring him up is because he had big playmaking ability. Nobody else had big playmaking ability. Sure, you could go for the 5-yard slant. You could go for the 10-yard in. You could go for the drag route, all that stuff. But if you're putting the ball in Devontae Smith's hands, he could take it to the house. If you're putting the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands, he could take it to the house. You might design a play for short yardage, but you're going to see somebody that might be able to break it for the yards after the catch, like you do see with the Rams, for instance, or like you have seen in other Sean McVay offenses. Yeah, like you have seen with Kyle Shanahan. That's what you could get out of this offense. It's not just about the design; it's about the players that can break it. And I'm including Jalen Hurts in that. I know he said he's probably not going to run as much. It's whatever they need to do to win. And back in 2022, they relied on that because that's what they needed. They might not need to do it now. But I still think he could break a defense's back with a good run. I still think he has that ability about him. So for me, it's just a matter of running a good play, executing a good play, and then if a defensive back, a safety misses their assignment, that's where you exploit them. It's going to be more of the rabbit punches as opposed to the haymakers being thrown. That's how I envision this offense being. Yeah, you're going to get back to some of those values of the West Coast and all that, but you got some pretty talented people that if you get in space, they can make people miss. I think Saquon still has that in him. Devontae certainly has that. And I think Mekhi Lemon could be one of those guys as well. Not to mention 2 tight ends, I think, in Stowers, who I think is going to be a player, and you still have a tight end in Dallas Goedert that can make plays for you also.
Farsi, help me out. 2024, first 4 games of the year. Did Kellen Moore, did he run motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
That season. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, was Hurts the first 4 games under center?
Not as much.
Okay. Well, he was under center the first 4 games, and they pulled him away from that, if you remember.
Okay.
Right.
I might have it reversed in my head, but okay.
Okay. So my point is, Kellen Moore basically did the same things that they're going to try to with them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Why is it going to be better with Sean Mannion with a lesser experienced coordinator than there was with a more experienced coordinator when you had all that motion? He started the season out under center, and now they're going to go back to doing that instead of doing what they did before with a lesser experienced guy and an older team.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. So I know Kellen Moore played the position. I know Kellen Moore, he was also an experienced play caller, as we all know. Sean Mannion certainly is not an experienced play caller, but he was a quarterback in the NFL for 9 years. I look at the first 4 games of that 2024 season as a lot of the team looking at the coaching staff going, guys, this is not a difficult code to crack. Saquon Barkley's back there. This is a Jeff Stoutland University graduate offensive line here. Let's just beat the crap out of teams. And that's exactly what they did. The adjustment I think then Jalen Hurts was willing to make was with motion offenses, maybe not so much to your point with under center. The point I always go to with Jalen in that season is you're talking about a guy that's supposed to hate running motions, yet they ran the 11th most motions in the NFL that season. Then under Kevin Patullo last year, they were 29th, I believe it was, or 30th in times that you actually used motion. I think Jalen needs to realize that at this point with this team and where they're at with or without A.J. Brown, he's got to be more fluid. He's got to be more understanding of what's going to be there around him and what could be open if he takes himself out of his comfort zone. I don't think Jalen was an idiot in 2024. I think he looked and saw, wait, why am I doing all this when Saquon's right? This is how we're going to win games this year. Let's just do that. You need me to make a throw? I'll make a throw. And he did that season. No better example in the Super Bowl. But when you look at this team and the versatility that's going to be required of them, again, without A.J. Brown, another year older and all that, I think Jalen's a little bit more open-minded. And I also think this has something to do with it. I think last year was so bad for this offense between Jalen, Kevin Patullo, the offensive line being banged up. I think Jalen realizes that window isn't going to stay open forever. And I think that's part of a haunting, motivating factor maybe for Jalen where he might be more open to it. Hell, he was good under center last year. When they ran him under center those 3-4 games, they actually had a lot of success.
They up-tempoed him. I thought he was good. I think he's good on tempo.
He's good throwing in the middle of the field, yet they never do it. Why is that? He's got to be more open this year, no doubt about that.
So I want to go over a couple things that he said, and you tell me what you took away from it. He was asked one of the questions about all the offensive coordinator changes, and he said this. hard to grow with all the changes. Is that a shot at the organization?
Yeah. Yeah, you could absolutely say that's a shot at the organization. It's also, look, I don't think he's just like singling out Jeffrey Lurie or Nick Sirianni or anybody. I think he's going like, yeah, when you have success, like he understands what goes into a change. Like, yeah, sometimes it's Kevin Patullo, and then other times, oh, you won a Super Bowl. Now, like, your offensive quality control coach could get a head coaching job, Like, that's just what everybody wants. Everybody wants that secret sauce. I think part of it is the change and a shot at the organization, and the other part is acknowledging that when you have success, there also comes change, unfortunately, in the NFL when you're talking about coordinator positions. I took it more as an acknowledgement that there's been a lot of having to get used to things year after year after year, when that's really been his career from his college freshman season to now. There's just constant change in terms of his coaching staff. I think it's an acknowledgement more than a shot, but I think it definitely lets management know, hey, can we keep some of these guys around for a minute? Thanks.
I'll tell you something I took away that I thought was wild. So he was asked a question about what they did with success. And Hurts goes, yeah, well, Sean Mannion comes to us and says, you guys really did this well. I got to figure out where it fits in. So I was like, hold on for a second. Sean Mannion is going to figure out what you did well. And he's going to try to fit that into what he's going to do. Made me think this. Is this guy really, in your opinion, Farzi, been given more autonomy than any guy that they've ever hired at that position? Because the way Hurts answered that, he said, you guys do this really well. I just got to figure out where that fits in with what we're going to do. Yeah. Wait, he should have figured out, where I fit in on what they've been doing when you're 50-18 in 4 years. That's not how that was presented by Hurts.
Yeah. So
because Farzi, he followed it up by saying, it's very different than what we've done here.
Yeah, I mean, he used the term West Coast. I mean, flat out. Yeah. And I haven't heard that term in quite some time. Also, I find it just amazing that that people just keep on referring to it. And Saquon Barkley was asked about it.
Yep.
I think Nick Sirianni was even asked in terms of phrasing it, and Jalen Hurts, the Shanahan-McVay offense. And it's like, if I'm Nick Sirianni, I've been to 2 Super Bowls. I've won a Super Bowl. I've like the greatest start to a career as a coach ever. This is going to be my offense, but we all know that's not true. So that's a little indicting of Sirianni. But as far as the question goes about or the Sean Mannion statement of we're going to incorporate things you've done, things you guys have done in the past. I mean, I think you would have to be dumb as rocks as an offensive coordinator to come in and look at Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and to a degree Nick Sirianni and say, well, obviously the time you guys have had together here, it's been a complete failure. We're changing everything. Like, that'd be dumb. I think it's very wise. And the more I hear about Sean Mannion, not from him, but from other people, including the players that spoke at the press conference and Sirianni, the more I like him, because I don't get the sense, like it passes the test. My BS meter doesn't go off. Like, Sean Mannion is the son of a longtime head high school football coach, which to some people that might not mean anything, but that means he's been around coaching his whole life.
He grew up in the environment.
He grew up in the environment. And here's the other thing. I believe great coaches also have to be great teachers. And I think if you're a great teacher, man, you know how to get the most out of these players. And you have Sean Mannion coming here, and both his parents were teachers. And I think that came into effect, and this might be something else you're going to bring up as well, so I don't want to jump ahead. But just in terms of Jalen Hurts saying he likes when people explain why. Don't just say, this is what we're doing. I want to know why we're doing it. And that, to me, is what great coaches, and especially nowadays, great coaches and great teachers have in common. That's the thing. You have to be able to tell the person why so they can understand it, and that helps them unlock some other things they might be trying to do in any walk of life, in this case, run a football offense, an offensive football. But as far as the idea of Sean Mannion incorporating things they have done in the past, why wouldn't he? I think if they had a way to use Saquon Barkley great 2 years ago, how do they get back to that bread and butter? If they had a way to get Devontae Smith open, why not get back to that bread and butter? If they had a way of using Saquon Barkley out of the backfield in the passing game more, let's do it. Dallas Goedert as a tight end. I mean, you're talking about Dallas Goedert disappeared for like 10 games in the middle of this season after having 7 touchdowns in his first 7 games. Then he was gone, and then he came back and was able to put the capstone on a historical season for an Eagles tight end. Incorporate all that stuff that works and then build on it. And I think that's where Sean Mannion comes in. I think it's smart to acknowledge, hey, you guys have had some success here. This isn't a total rebuild. This isn't blow it up and start over. Let's build on and improve what we have.
Here's you made that comment about Sean McVay and the Sean McVay Rams offense.
Yeah.
It was even more accentuated by Barkley when Barkley goes, I called Todd Gurley. You could have called any running back in the history of the NFL. And I started thinking, why Todd Gurley? Because he played in the McVay offense. He had 80 targets 2 years in his heyday in 17 and 18. So you want Barkley to be more like Gurley, and you want Hurts to be more like Stafford. Is that how I'm reading that? I mean, I've never heard this. I've never heard this before. Hey, Mahomes, I want you to run Lamar Jackson's offense. Hey, Josh Allen, I want you to run Joe Burrow's offense. It sounds like, you're asking for a guy who's never played like this before. And I'm talking Jalen.
Yeah.
Dude, he was a weapon in 22. They're getting so further away from that guy to like the Stafford guy. It's moon and the sun stuff here. How confident in 57 days of training camp do you think they're going to evolve this in there when they don't play exhibition football? You think they're just going to turn the switch, Farzy, and this thing's going to be a smooth transition like that?
Well, I'll start with this. There's no switch where all of a sudden Jalen Hurts becomes the thrower that Matt Stafford is. Like, let's just get that out of the way. And
then why even go down this lane, though?
Because your offense was so terrible last year.
Okay.
Like, I know I joke about this with you, but if Kevin Patullo,
hey, he's taking victory laps in Miami that he built the whole thing,
That's adorable. That's adorable.
Yeah,
good for him. That is like, in all honesty, I thought one of the great things that Jalen said yesterday, and I think anybody could watch 10 minutes of that press conference, Jalen Hurts talking, and sift through it and try to really force a square peg in a round hole and be like, this is him ripping Kevin Patullo. But there was one thing in particular that I think was unquestionable, that was undeniably a shot at Patullo, and that was the why. When he talked about that whole why factor of like, don't just tell me this is what we're doing. If we're going to go under center, why are we going under center? Like, literally, Kevin Patullo is a guy that said last year, yeah, sometimes you run plays just to run them. It's like, fire this man now. Now he just did it. He just incriminated himself. Get him the hell out of here.
Huh.
So you're going from that to a guy that at least is fluent in quarterback in Sean Mannion, has experience was like, but in all honesty, like, that's not a stretch to hear that and go, oh, I know who he's talking about there,
Yep.
But to get back to your question, to get back to your question, this offense was so terrible last year. You need something to be the defibrillator here and get it going again. And the reason I do have confidence it is going to work is I still believe you have very talented players on this roster. I think last year was an awful year for this Eagles offensive line. I sure as hell hope a couple of trips to Medellin really gets these guys healthy again on that offensive line. You've drafted some in the offensive line there with a guy like Markel Bell, who was playing at right tackle without Lane Johnson being there yesterday. And I still think Devontae Smith is one hell of a player. I love the Mekhi Lemon pick. I think that's a great pick. I'm really big on Eli Stowers, as I mentioned. And Dallas Goedert is still here. And if you're talking about a blocking tight end, Johnny Munt can throw shoulders into people and knock them on their ass. Like, I like what he could bring to the table as far as a blocking tight end goes. So you could have a pass-catching tight end out there and a guy to throw that weight around as well. And I don't look at Saquon Barkley and see a guy who's cooked. I look at Saquon Barkley and I say, you have a guy who at 27 years old had 482 touches in the regular season and postseason combined. You have a guy now coming off now a year removed from that, where his workload wasn't anything close to that the previous season. He should have a bounce back year. He even acknowledged it in his press conference. Of all the things in a long season, it's mentally draining when you're playing the 17-game regular season schedule and then you're playing through the playoffs and into the Super Bowl with the weekend in the middle where you're talking to everybody and their mother because you're the story. Then you got the parade and everything, which is great. You don't have the time to recover. Now he's got that, unfortunately, because last year was a bust. You have the time to recover this year. I'm confident because I know they still have talented players on this team. And I'm also confident for a guy we haven't even mentioned yet. Vic Fangio is going to give this offense some wiggle room. I don't see the defense getting their doors blown off where the offense has to score 40 points, right out of the gate in order to win football games. I think this defense, I think Vic Fangio is going to have another a core group with him that's going to help this offense keep their head above water as the season goes on. You're probably going to see the defense be the star of the show early as you wait for the offense to click into high gear.
Couple last questions there for you, Farzy. Is Jalen Hurts a starting quarterback in 2027?
Yes. I can't tell you in one breath, this is gonna be great. And oh, by the way, Jalen's gone next year. Like I look at this as the Eagles look at this system and Jalen Hurts, and I think they look at it and say, yeah, he can do this. If they didn't think he could do it, they're just wasting their time with Sean McVay being in here. Sean Mannion coming in here. They were wasting their time by even trying to knock on the door of a Mike McDaniels or knock on the door of a Brian Dable. They look at Sean Mannion and say, this guy he's got the know-how of the modern-day NFL offense that Jalen Hurts can fit into. And if we get Jalen Hurts to step out of his comfort zone in areas that he's pretty damn good at, we've talked about over the middle, we've talked about being under center, then we just tap into that with Jalen. We all of a sudden got a complete offense that people were thinking we couldn't run. And, oh, by the way, we might just have a pretty great run game to fall back on at the same time. Like, that to me is a successful year. And after a successful year, you're not telling your two-time conference, one-time Super Bowl champion quarterback to go kick rocks.
You think that Nick Sirianni's the head football coach in 27?
Yeah, if it's successful, they're not going to be like, hey, great deep playoff run. By the way, coach, you're fired. Like, I don't think that happens. Hey, we won another Super Bowl with this coach. You're fired. Like, I don't think that happens either.
If they get beat like they did in an opening round again,
then we're talking about it. Then we're talking about it. Yeah. The interesting thing, though, and I think you and I have kicked this around before.
You're going to fire a guy with that kind of success because he had a bad year?
If he wins or if he gets blown out in the playoff, I mean, it really depends on the optics of it as it all winds down.
Yeah, I think that was bad optics because that was a junior varsity 49er team that beat him.
Almost literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Is Nick Sirianni getting the job now if he comes in and he said, well, excuse me, so forget about the accolades of the resume and all that. If Doug Peterson was just fired and they were going to Nick Sirianni and he goes, well, here's my plan. Number one, I don't call plays. Number two, we're going to need to have a coordinator that can call plays and knows how to run an offense because that's not me, obviously.
And I've never coached an RPO type of quarterback before. He ain't getting that job.
Is he getting that gig because he's emotionally intelligent? No, he's not. So that's the baffling thing. So when people talk about, are you going to fire him? Well, he stays and you hire another offensive coordinator. And what are you going to promote from within again? Are you going to try to keep Josh Grizzard here? Are you going to try to keep Jared Johnson here? Does Parks Frazier get elevated?
Parks Frazier, he's the guy.
Parks Frazier. The year he called plays was the Jeff Saturday year, and I think it was between him or whoever the hell the Colts mascot is, whatever that guy is, him or Parks Frazier calling plays. I think that's what it came down to. But yeah, I think it comes down to for this offense and Nick Sirianni, if the optics are similar to a 2023 or even close to what happened last year, I think that's where you're talking about starting over. And I know that might seem brash to some, but Jeffrey Lurie has what he believes to be a lot of talent on this team, and he loves this team, and he spends money for this team, obviously. I don't think he's going to be stomaching another year of Nick Sirianni. I think he wants to find a head coach that is the offense. So he's not naming his head coach's offense after other head coach's offense. I think that sticks in his crawl.
It just completely it blows my mind where they are right now. That you have this kind of success, and Jalen Hurts is. Do you think his reputation is on the line this year? Hurts. I mean, if he fumbles around a little bit at the beginning of the year. By the way, Farzy, 17 weeks last year, it never clicked. But this is going to click this year. In week what? 5, 6?
Well,
you think the Eagles are going to have that kind of patience to sit around for 7, 8 weeks? to wait for the Sean Mannion offense to click in? I mean,
Well,
how long are you going to wait?
Is that your bye week is what, week 10?
Yes.
You don't have the week 5 bye week like you did in 2024, where they could be like, all right, everyone, let's get in a meeting, let's hash this out because this ain't working, that kind of thing. So it's really got to be fluid with this Eagles team. I think Jalen. I don't think Jalen's on any kind of short leash here.
Okay.
Like, how does it benefit the Eagles to put him on a short leash? What is Andy Dalton going to come in and be the savior?
No.
Is Tanner McKee really going to be the guy?
Setting him up this year for success.
I do, because if they were setting him up for failure, they probably would have kept Kevin Patullo and they would have made it work last year, because nobody was going to bang down Kevin Patullo's door and say, hey, you got a head coaching job after this. I don't think that was happening. I look at Jalen Hurts and I see a guy that can still figure this out. I think he could do all the things that they're saying. Oh, Jalen can do all the things. I think he can do all the things. We've seen him do it. It's just a matter of doing it for an extended period of time. I'm excited to see Jalen Hurts in this offense, because it is going to be a pass-fail type of situation, which is crazy to think about with a guy who's already been to 2 Super Bowls, but I think he passes that test.
Is this very Philly? John Tortorella tells you to go to hell, quit your hockey team, jumps aboard an A train out in Las Vegas, and he coasts in to the Stanley Cup Finals, and there's John Tortorella with a chance to become only the 8th coach in NHL Stanley Cup history to take over a team late in the year and win a Stanley Cup. And by the way, I would think whoever comes out of the East, I would still think the Vegas Knights are going to be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. John Tortorella wins a cup. How Philly is that?
That is very Philly. The fact that they're doing it with Carter Hart, another former Flyer. Yeah, that's extremely Philly in all of that. Look, I really like John Tortorella. It made no sense to me that John Tortorella got hired for a rebuilding team, a team that was in their own process, if you will. And he was just about as entertaining as you would assume when he was going through that time. And then eventually it all came to a head exactly like most people thought it would come to a head, which was him telling the front office, yeah, this isn't working. You guys need to do this. You guys need to do that. And they're like, John, we explained this to you. See you later. And that was that. But it's very Philly, just like it's very Philly to be like, hey, you finally have a quarterback that is gone to the Super Bowl multiple times. He's the franchise quarterback. He's won. When do we get rid of him? Like, that to me is just like, I do a lot of local TV with Fox 29. And Alex Holly is their local morning host, along with Mike Jarek. And at the end, I think it was at the end of the year, she said, so are we done with the Jalen bashing, was the question. And I said, here's what I've noticed. Here's what I've learned. We'll never be done with quarterback bash. Like, we'll always want to bench the quarterback as a society. And if you go back and you listen to old tapes of, sports talk radio, or whatever, and they're talking about Randall, or they're talking about like Ty Detmer, they're talking about Bobby Hoying, they're talking about Donovan even. It's always the same. It's like, is he the guy? Is he the guy? Well, here's the guy. That's the guy. And then now there's people that are chomping at the bit to be like, yeah, but he sucks. I'm like, what? Anyway, that's where I'm at with all of it.
One last one. Ready?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts handling the, by the way, one of the GOAT moves of all time for Jalen Hurts. Jalen, what about AJ? Puts it down. Yeah. There's your shot right there. There it is. To get you going. One of the GOAT moves of all time, by the way. And I love the fact he didn't answer the question, but he answered it the right way. You're never going to say anything about what our success has been here and what we've meant. And the ultimate troll was, yeah, I saw the pictures. They were really great. And I'm going like, okay, because he didn't show up to the wedding. That was a thing. I made a thing out of it too. But I got to tell you, man, I mean, him sitting there and answering the question like that, I thought that was really awesome. How do you think Donovan McNabb would have handled A.J. Brown in this story?
A series of really lame jokes. That's how I think he would have handled that. If it was AJ, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think it would have been a series of lame jokes from Donovan McNabb.
Hey, add this into this. What relationship has been more detrimental to a team's success? Because you got to figure if he's gone with AJ on your team, this coming back, you would think he'd give you more success on maybe potentially winning another Super Bowl and adding another Super Bowl appearance. Now you take this out. He's been to 2.
Yeah.
McNabb. Is it McNabb and T.O. or is it AJ and Hurts? Because you potentially are leaving championships on the table here.
Yeah, no, for me, it's really hard for me to say anything would ever top if McNabb and T.O. were best friends for like 3 years, or if they were bosom buddies. Like that, to me, they were so ahead of the game, and you saw what the Eagles were without Terrell Owens, and then you saw what they were with him. You saw the night and day. It came down to personality. It came down to Donovan not going to bat for T.O., but then going to bat for Brian Westbrook. Like that to me is the end all be all, one of the biggest what ifs in all the history of Philadelphia sports. I think with AJ being like when T.O. was gone, it wasn't like you were like
Super Bowl on the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do too.
Absolutely. I think they left. They quite possibly left 2 Super Bowls on the table.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, if they were great, if they were cool with each other for 2-3 more years, what could have been, man. But then again, if you say that, then you also have to say, would T.O. go to Dallas and always be cool with Tony Romo? No, like everywhere T.O. went, a problem followed. You know, it's almost like the James Harden syndrome. It's similar to that, you know, to reference another sport, obviously. But yeah, no, this is bad with AJ, but it was terrible with T.O. and Donovan. That's where I'll go with that.
Man, I think you left 2 Super Bowls on the table with Owens. You may have left another one on the table here. I mean, because you can't tell me your offense is going to be better without that guy. I mean, it's going to be at least different.
You know what it might be more of? Here's what I will tell you. And I think this is it might be more versatile. And right? you might only have one wide receiver with over 1,000 yards. Like we're used to 2 receivers with 1,000 yards. You know, we're used to a running back with over 1,000 yards. You might have Devontae Smith with like 1,300 yards. Then you might see Mekhi Lemon with 700. You might see Hollywood Brown with like 500. You might see 900 from Dallas Goedert. You know, I think it'll be more spread out, more versatile, but overall better. I like when you have guys that you know, like AJ and Devontae, that can just go up and punch people in the mouth and keep going. You know, it might be more versatile. It'll be more distributed than we've ever seen, if all this clicks into place. But as far as better, no, I don't think it'll be better.
Can it put the kids' feet and hands in cement? May I say that with due respect?
Yeah,
I'm not playing Jimmy Hoffa here, but I mean, are you going to put the feet and hands? I don't know where he is in the north end zone of the Meadowlands in the old stadium. I have no idea. I've never heard anything about it. So, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, feet and hands in the cement here with the kids?
Whatever gets the point across. No, it'll be initials and then probably hands. Initials and hands.
Initials and hands.
Yeah,
like the stars out there in Hollywood, just like that. All right,
just like it'll be just as nice too. Just as nice.
Farzy, thank you so much, man. I can't wait. I tell you what, I can't wait for this year. I cannot wait to see what this thing looks like.
Yeah,
I really have. Look, I think the defense, to your point, you know, hearing Bond and Jordan Davis and all these guys talking, they're putting on everything. The Eagles on offense, like, yeah, this is brand new. You know, we got terminology over here. We're doing this. These guys over here on defense are like, Vic is juiced. He's got 2 more years, ready to rock with this guy.
Reverse aging.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a whole different vibe on that side of the ball, no?
He's reverse aging. Vic Fangio's reverse aging. I love that. I absolutely love, like, I had to make sure I heard it right, and I went back and I listened to it again. Jordan Davis, he might be keeping his new contract money like in his hair. Did you see how high his hair is? Like that's clutch, and I'm jealous. Yes, But number two, the other thing he said was he was talking about. First off, I've been saying his name wrong. I've been saying you are Bernard. Apparently, it's Uar Bernard. Uar Bernard, the Nigerian. Yeah. Jordan Davis was talking about like helping him out, and he says what he's found himself doing is paying more attention to detail than he ever has. He goes, I thought I paid attention to detail of what I'm doing in what I'm doing, but with somebody next to me that's never done it, I find myself locking in even more, focusing in even more, paying attention to my detail even more, because I want to be perfect for the guy next to me trying to learn. Like,
you know, where
I'm an emotional man. I could cry over how beautiful that is.
Hey, do you know where he got that from? He got that from Clint Hurt.
That's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Clint Hurt, when you were at Miami, and when I was taught by Jim Burt, or I was taught by Eddie Matthews, or I was taught by Eddie Williams, or any of these other guys that played before us, they would come back and they would teach us. Jerome Brown and I would teach Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy. And Cortez Kennedy would teach Warren Sapp. And Warren Sapp, we'd all go down the lane because we thought it was our responsibility. If a kid came to you and went, hey, how do you play the 3 technique? Or how do you play this? And how do you play under your pads? You know, I wasn't going to go out of my way, but if a kid came out of his way to come to me, I would always go out of my way. So, I mean, I think that comes down from Clint. I think that also comes from Vic. Because do you not agree that Vic Fangio, his influence on the linebacking core, I mean, Farzy, you and I talked about it. Prior to Vic getting here, that was a train wreck position. Now, it's the deepest position on their defense is their linebackers. Trotter looks great. He made Frankenstein, Zach Bond. I mean, this guy finds a special teams guy in New Orleans, and he turns him into a first-team All-Pro. This kid Munden looks like he might be a player too. Campbell's going to be a versatile guy where you can play him in coverage and you can play him against the run, maybe a little more better than what they had with Nakobe. I think they've got some of the greatest coaches that they have had since Jim Johnson and that defensive coaching staff. I think you guys got the best defensive coaching staff in football on that side of the ball. I mean, Bobby King, the linebacker coach, and Vic. I mean, those guys are great. And you lost Christian Parker. That's a great side of the football, man.
Yeah. I'm shocked that I'm blanking on. You just said his name. Bobby King. No. King, the linebackers coach.
Yeah, Bobby King.
Bobby King. Thank you. Yeah. I was shocked he didn't get a defensive coordinator interview anywhere.
You know, he was recommended by Nick to Vic. I'll tell you, listen to this. I was in San Diego, and I used to go over to the complex all the time. Guess who was in the building? Sirianni was in the building, and Frank was the offensive coordinator. Do you know who the quarterback you know who the linebacker coach was? It was Bobby King. He was with Chuck Pagano's brother. And Chuck Pagano's brother was the DC there, and the linebacker coach was Bobby King. Vic had never met him before. Vic had no idea who the hell Bobby King was.
Wow.
And Sirianni goes, look, I had a guy here, Chuck Pagano's brother. He coached him here. I got a great picture of all these guys together. I'm with him. And I'm like, Nick Sirianni was the guy that recommended Bobby King to be the linebacker coach to Vic Fangio. And that's how that guy landed in Philly.
Maybe Nick knows defense. No.
Hey, I'm just telling you, I agree. I don't know if those guys are going to be intact next year, Farzy. I'll say this. That I think Clint Hurt and Bobby King could be DCs next year somewhere else.
It's quite possible. They have another year like this. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, after losing to Kobe Dean. Yeah, that's just more on an already impressive resume there for Bobby King. It's pretty impressive.
It really is. My friend, I will see you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you again. I always appreciate you doing this for us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother. Take it easy, man.
You got it. That is Mark Farzetta, and I appreciate him more than you know. Yeah, that whole coaching staff. I mean, yeah, King was there with Pagano, and Chuck Pagano's brother was the was the defensive coordinator. And I became very good friends with him. I got a great picture, by the way, of that. And as a matter of fact, let me see here. See if I can let me see if I can bring this up here. It's a great picture of Pagano. Chuck Pagano was an assistant coach at the University of Miami when I was there. And he was like a GA. And here's John Pagano. Let's see if I can bring this up. So there's John Pagano in the blue shirt. That's Tom Telesco, and that's me in the middle. And Bobby King was the linebackers guy there, and Nick Sirianni recommended him. Chuck Pagano, man, phenomenal. And John Pagano was also, I think, a very good defensive coordinator. These guys were great. I think those guys will probably, they'll probably get coordinating jobs. Sills, I don't want to be popular if I make it. It's not because who I am. It's because I'm really good. I definitely come from Vic K. Clint. Don't sleep on Dallas with Parker. If Dallas doesn't get Myles Garrett. See here. Hey, Kim, I'm rooting for you. Remember something, Kim. All you got to do is just outwork people, and you'll get there. The key is going to be quitting. And if you quit, if you outlast them, you're going to make it. You don't have to be the most talented guy. You have to be the most real person. Just be yourself. If you're yourself, and by the way, women are needed in our business. There's not enough of them. African Americans and women are needed in sports broadcasting. But because of the sexist mentality that is in our business, you want to know what sexism is? Try being in our business. And trying to be a woman to get ahead in our business is impossible. They've always got preconceived notions. It's the most sexist business going. And that's why I put on women all the time. And I try to do the best I can for that. But you need more African Americans and you need more women. Maria Taylor is spectacular. Maria Taylor is the best right now. She is absolutely fabulous. She is as talented as anybody in broadcasting. And I've spoken to her. She's a former Georgia Bulldog volleyball player. And she's worked her ass of getting ahead. And I've spoken to her numerous times. She has just fantastic work. And I think that, she's very versatile. She's great with a mic. I think she's one of the more talented people, not just as a woman, but she's one of the more talented hosts. Just great. And I think NBC should do more with her. I am a massive fan of hers. Tremendously gifted. Sills always backs down with his guest. Backs down? No, I have a normal conversation with people so they can come out. Backs down? Fuck, guy, you don't have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, a guy's been doing this shit for 40 years, and you telling me I back down. Yeah, okay. Nice job, kid. Fuck are you talking about? Stupid. Difference between us is that we brag about our playoff success. You brag about random regular season moments. Winning mentality versus loser mentality. I'm obviously thinking you're talking Cowboys and Eagles. Well, that's recent history for sure. Difference between me and you is I'm not bragging about the 21st ranked quarterback. Thank you, Sills. What a GA Bulldog. Z's my team. Yeah. She was I think she was an All-American volleyball player at Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Dallas fans, hilarious. It's all Dak who beat us, but come December, it's a team game. Well, Twiz, one thing I will say about the Cowboys, they're not asking Dak to change. They're asking Jalen to be more like Dak, which is kind of crazy. You're asking Jalen to spread the ball around like Dak does. And to get away from the winning formula. Man, I don't think that makes sense. Sales, have you heard of a channel? She covers the Eagles and does other broadcast stuff as well. She could be a good guest. All right, we'll look into it. She's a woman. She's good. Okay, put her on. You can only wish, Jackson. Let's see here. Dallas and Philly, two different things. Their problem is they're shit D. Nothing to do with changing an O. Yeah, correct. And in Philly, it's your shit O. Right. That's why you're not doing anything on your defense. You got a shit offense, and now you don't want it. You're adding to your defense. Correct. Yes. Mark Holmes on your show said he wants his quarterback to be more like Hurts. That guy's so dumb. Philadelphia, if you want to talk your team, Philadelphia, if you want to talk your team playoff success, you got me. Think of Jalen as some playoff master when you win games throwing under 100 yards is crazy. Facts. That's why they're changing. Hey, like Coyote, they want Jalen Hurts to play more like Dak. And that's why the offense, and this is why they're changing. By the way, Dak Prescott has no problem with the Eagles. That's not his problem. Okay? You want an English fucking class? Go somewhere else, guy. Yeah, if you're in a position where you're asking Jalen Hurts to, like, you know, play like Dak. Coyote, your resume is your resume. Jalen has regular season wins and has playoff wins and Super Bowls. I'll take your regular season ass out of here. He's got a point there, Coyote. The resume speaks for itself. Now, skill set stuff, he's not in Dak's league. Okay? No one would ever say this, my friend. Dak Prescott has no talent compared to Jalen. Jalen's got no talent compared to Dak throwing the ball. I mean, it's not even close. Prescott's a better quarterback. He's just no, actually, I'll take that back. He's a better player. He's just not a better quarterback when it matters. And that is a deal. And that's part of it. Okay? Dak was a one-read quarterback too. He evolved. Let me show you something, how fucking ridiculous this is. Dak Prescott has always been a progression reader. And I'll tell you why. I had Dan Mullen on my morning show who coached him at Mississippi State. And he said, without a doubt, one of the best progression reading quarterbacks he's ever coached was Dak Prescott. When Prescott got to Mississippi State, he said it. He could dissect any defense, and he was underrated, and that's why he fell in the draft. Okay, get this. No, he wasn't. So here, let's do this. No, he wasn't. And Dan Mullen said it. Talk about a delusional Eagle fan. No, he wasn't. So here's Prescott. So Prescott's first season, 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 4 picks at 68 completion percentage. That doesn't sound like a guy who's turning the ball over and can't read defenses, and they were 13-3. 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 36 touchdowns, 9 picks. Dak Prescott has been a progression reader and a guy who's thrown the ball nearly 600 times his entire career. Guy, go to the corner. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. That's not a shocker, though. Where's Dan Mullen now? What does that have to do with anything? He coached him at Mississippi State. Bro, you're dumb as a rock. Dak's good at getting away with sexual assaults. Dak Prescott's been charged with sexual assault. When was that? Dak Prescott was charged with sexual assault, or are you throwing that out? When was Dak charged with that? Throwing jump balls to Mike Evans. Well, that would be a wrong school, douchebag. Mike Evans played at Texas A&M. And he played at Mississippi State. Try to get your SEC schools in line. Not sure what the fuck you're talking about. Not sure what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about, do you? I mean, he played at A&M, not Mississippi State. By the way, I know the colors of the uniforms are the same. Is that where you got confused? Probably so. Box of rocks. He's respectful with guests. I would expect a change up for her. And that's why we get the biggest names in the history of fucking broadcasting on my shows. Sure, okay. Coyote, you keep bringing up individual passing stats if that wins games. Well, then why are you changing to a Dak Prescott offense? Texas A&M had to cancel their Christmas pageant last year. Couldn't find 3 wise men. That's fairly funny. Sills, wouldn't you agree playing our style recently hurt passing stats, though? Why? You had 2 wide receivers go over 1,000 yards almost every year. I mean, those guys got their individual numbers. Did they not? We should have swept Dallas last year. You never outplayed the Cowboys last year. 8 quarters of play, the Cowboys outplayed you. Let's see this. Let me go back here a little bit. Let's see here. Cowboys. Let me go here. I want to double check that. Dallas Cowboys. Schedule here. Here we go. Let's go 5. Let's see that Philly game. Let's see here. So how'd you do in that Philly game? Cowboys had, it's pretty close, 307, 302. Eagles ran the ball 158 to 119. What was Dak in passing? 188 to 144. It's a pretty even game. I think they got the better of you because they ran the ball in that game. The Cowboys did have 5 yards of carry, 5.4 yards of carry. That was a toss-up right there. The other game, where's the Cowboy game down here? Let's see here. Here we go. 24-21 game. Cowboys had 473 yards in offense to 339. Dak threw the ball for 348 yards, and they ran the ball for 125, and the Eagles ran the ball for 63 yards. You had 14 penalties in that game for 96 yards. Cowboys dominated that game. Cowboys dominated that football game. Second game against Dallas, they turtled up. Were great in the first half, shit in the second half. Cowboys outplayed the Eagles in 4 quarters, first half of the first game and second half of the second game. That's probably fair. Yeah, by the way, the other day when Philly 500 was on, I think those games were exceptionally close last year. There wasn't a giant margin where the Eagles were better. What game was that? We had a CD drop and a fumble from winning. Honestly, what white boy safety was making CD and Ferguson think twice? Hoss. Cooper DeJean's a really great football player. Oh, shit yourself. That guy can play. Eagles are going to need auditorium for those wide receiver meetings. Yeah, but you can only throw the ball to one dude. And just because you got a group of people and you got 7, 8 guys, that doesn't mean you have A.J. Brown. Hurts is 1-3 in wild card games in the first round bye. Helps him a lot. Tommy, he's never won a road game in the playoffs. And if you count neutral site, he has. But outside of that, he's never won a playoff game on the road. Now, that's because they've been great and they get the home games in Philly. Kudos to the team. Dak owns us, but he's a bum still in the playoffs. Correct. All that is true. You are 1,000% correct. Okay? Let's see here. I saw something here that I liked. Gimmick. Only a lowbrow thinking idiot would think gimmick. Gimmick? Yeah, let me go to sleep and have a gimmick. A fucking gimmick. What's that? A gimmick. Did it ever dawn on you I'm just an asshole? Or no? Gimmick. Those are always great. Gimmick. And what's the other one? Burner account. You obviously think I take more when I'm done broadcasting off. Like I said, I do broadcasting for 7 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And I do television shows on weekends. I have more things to do than sit around. Things will be interesting if McKee picks up this offense faster. I got to tell you something, DFW. I think they're getting ready to trade the guy. I really do. I think they're getting ready to trade the dude. Dallas isn't why Dak isn't why Dallas sucks. However, shock jock? What, by telling the truth? Told you before. You know how to shock people? Tell them the truth. That's what shocks you. I mean, you know why people have an ass with me in here? Because I tell you the truth. Didn't have a first round bye in 24. Shout out Commanders by and for beating the Lions that year. We'll see what they do this year. Really will. Dak does own you. He's 10-5. Excuse me, I didn't mean to click on him. Jimmy G also owns us too. Jimmy G's not a bad quarterback. Okay? Let's see here. I hope Lemon doesn't turn out to be like Jalen Reagor. I don't think so. I didn't think shit of Jalen Reagor coming out of college at TCU. I never did. Reagor, I never thought anything of. Lemon, I voted for him for the Biletnikoff Award. I don't think he's going to be that. But to sit there and think that he's going to be Devontae Smith coming out of college, that's a stretch. So I think he could be a pretty good ball player. To what level? So let me ask you this. You think he's going to be better than T. Higgins? Let me see what T. Higgins has done in the 2-hole in his career. You guys think Mekhi Lemon would be better than T. Higgins? Of course you do. So T. Higgins in the 2 role. 67 catches, 908. 74 catches for 1,091. 74 catches for 1,030. He got hurt this year. He had 50 catches for 700 yards. He got hurt again in 24. He had 900 yards and 73 catches. Last year, he had 60 for 846. Now, remember, Burrow was hurt in there too. So, I mean, you think Lemon is going to be? Of course you do. Lemon needs to play some downs in the NFL. He's a question mark like Caleb Downs will be for the Cowboys. I love Caleb Downs. I think he was the best player in the draft. But let's see how it plays out. All right, guys, let's pay some bills. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason, and that is because they win. With over $30 billion recovered, Morgan & Morgan is the best way for you to go if you've ever been injured on the job. I tell you about the family in Pennsylvania that was injured, and they initially offered $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was initially offered $350,000, and they ended up getting nearly $12 million. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I think they're getting ready to trade Tanner McKee. I really do. I think they're getting ready to trade him. Let's see anybody with brain cells here. Blake Bortles is still 10-5 against us. Still, okay. Okay. Steelers get Brown. We get DK Metcalf, huh? Sales, why they ain't on the phone? We got the Steelers game on the schedule, A.J. Brown revenge game. Okay. Sales got me on Mike Evans. I had a brain fart. It happens. Really? DK Metcalf is washed. Might be better off signing back Rager. Let's see what DK Metcalf did last year with the Steelers. He says he's washed. Okay. So Metcalf last year, 59 catches for 850. As a matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. He's had 2 1,000-yard years, and those were in 23 and 22. And his best year was in his second year. I never thought DK Metcalf was an elite wide receiver in this league. I thought he was really good. But I never thought he was one of the premier wide receivers. Better than Devontae Adams? Absolutely not. Cooper Kupp? Absolutely not. I never thought he was in that group. Now, again, you see when a guy says DK Metcalf as a number 2 wide receiver, that's a good pick. And that would be something that would work. Okay? I mean, I still think Roydcalf is a beast. That's hilarious. DK missed 2 games, did he? But have been at 1,100 yards? Oh, that's right. He got suspended at the end for punching that fan, right? Is that right, Steven? He got suspended for punching that fan. That's right. I'm just saying, if you take away the 3 games from Dak Prescott when played the Eagles backups due to the Eagles resting for playoffs, his record won't look like he owns us as much. Well, dude, that's not a Dak Prescott thing. He's playing against whoever you fucking put out there. Dak Prescott versus the Cowboys, or versus the Eagles, excuse me. So here's Dak. His first game, 287 and 2 touchdowns and a pick. Next Eagle game, he got hurt in that game. The next one after that, 18 of 31, 145. He had 3 picks. Got crushed in that game. The next game, 17 for 30, 179, a touchdown. The next game, 26 of 36, 270, 1 touchdown. 42 of 54 for 455 yards and 3 touchdowns. 21 of 27 for 240. 25 of 44 for 275. 21 of 26 for 240. 21 of 27 for 295 and 5 touchdowns. 29 of 44 for 3 touchdowns. 24 of 39 for 271. 21 for 34 for 188. And 23 of 36 for 454 yards. How many yards this guy got against the... How many yards? He averages 272 yards versus the Eagles in the air. And he's thrown for 4,000 yards. How many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In 15 games, he's thrown for $4,000. Wow. Okay. That's a lot. Chargers made sure Derwin James wasn't going anywhere after signing his contract extension yesterday. Roofer, he's one of my top 3 favorite football players in the league. I love that guy. I loved him when he was at Florida State. The guy was sensational. And they just signed him to that contract extension. What'd they give him? And by the way, get ready, Cooper DeJean. Let's see here. Derwin James. Derwin James. 3 years. $75.6 million. So let me say this here. $25 million per. So you'll probably pay him $26 million. Cooper DeJean. So next offseason, Cooper DeJean, 26, Q, 32, Carter, 35. See what you got going here. 13, $93 million in 3 players. And then Jalen Hurts, 60, like you guys say. $153 million this coming offseason. Jalen Hurts, 60, Carter, 35, Q, 32, and Cooper, 26. $153 million. How you doing? 3 dudes. $153 million. It's coming off season. Man. Sales Dak beating every starting Eagles quarterback. The Eagle fans dumb acting like he didn't own Wentz and Hurts. Even Foles took an L. Hey, dude, Dak has no problem against the Eagles. He has no problem against the Eagles. 0. Seals, I think the move off of Barkley, Hurts, Landon, and Lane retires. This is how they afford the defense. Lane retiring, moving off of AJ. Yeah, that sounds about right. Seals, did you see the Vikings awkwardness with Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy competition? Dude, J.J. McCarthy was a bust pick from day one. No one in their right mind thought that guy was a first-round draft choice coming out of Michigan. That guy was a 5th, 6th round pick. Dude, Carson Beck is a better player than J.J. McCarthy. I mean, J.J. McCarthy was not good. And by the way, Kyler Murray's not a stiff. Here. Guy played in get this. He thinks he's a stiff because he was in Arizona. Okay? Well, after they fired Kingsbury, what happened? Bad coaching, bad play. Here's look at Kyler Murray. By the way, I think Kyler Murray's got a win against the Eagles. And Jalen Hurts, if I'm not mistaken. Kyler Murray's first year, 37-22, 20 touchdowns. What did he run the ball for that year? 540 next year? You think this is bad football? Kyler Murray threw the ball for 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns in his second year and ran the ball for 820 yards and 11 touchdowns. That's bad? Hurts ain't done that. I mean, talk to the team. If the right deal comes along, Carter and Nolan getting traded. That's why they picked up the options. Yeah, but wait a minute. Deshae, I was told last offseason you can't pay everybody. So you're saying then he's holding out now? That's why he's not a camp. Now, he was there Tuesday, so I'll take that back. He was there Tuesday. But my question would be, so you're not going to give him a contract extension before the start of the football season? I'll tell you what, if you say that and you got rid of Josh Sweat and you didn't pay him for this upcoming offseason, all that bullshit you talked about last year of not being able to pay everybody was bullshit. Can't pay anybody? You haven't paid anybody but Jordan Davis. You paid the other guy. I mean, you paid the other guy. You didn't pay Carter. Now, we'll see, because maybe they do work on this deal. You know, they may do it this way. Let's get the AJ deal out of the way. And let's get AJ done, and then let's go to Jalen Carter. They may be doing that. If the right deal comes along, Carter and Nolan, yes. Here, double check here for a second here. Yeah, my bad. Murray threw for 39-71. And 20, and what was it? And 26 touchdowns. And he ran for 819 yards and 11 TDs that year. And let's see here. What's his record? I think he's going to do well up in Minnesota. Threw for 39-71, 37-87. And in his 7 years in the league, he's got 121 touchdown passes. How many years Jalen been in the league? How many years has he been in the league? 5, 6? I think he came in and did Jalen come in the same year as hey Reyes? Did Jalen come in the same year as Kyler Murray? He got 7 years in. Let's see here. Well, he was the number 1 overall pick, though, too. You got to remember that. So he was the number 1 overall pick. Man, he was sacked 48 times his first year. Wow. What a bad team he was on. Murray year before? Okay. Word on the street is that Michael Vick never studied either. Who cares about 4K? The Eagles do. He had a bad game, but he wasn't winning anyways. Defense gave up 6 touchdowns in the first 7 drives. If you're comparing Kyler to Jalen and saying Kyler is better, somehow better, put down your crack pipe. Where did you say that? Who fucking said that? I said, if you think Kyler Murray's a bad player, you're crazy. Where did you get that? Don't be so sensitive about your boyfriend. Seals, people need your race. AZ Kim. He is with a real team now. Oh, no. I think Kyler Murray is going to get well coached. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think they're going to do a great job. Jeff, there's people on my X account actually making me, like, I even told people, they're like, some guys like posting like racist things, and then they're trying to make it seem that that's my like burner account. It's wild. They can't get me on anything else, so they got to make shit up. You understand that? They're making things up. I mean, hey, thanks, Jeff. I mean, Jeff, they're making that up because they can't stand it. You see, like this guy here, all these people that come in here. What's his name? LJ tries to cancel my show every day. Say, oh, YouTube, this guy's this guy's that, and this guy's that, and this guy's this. It's crazy. My bosses know already. They're not. They're on to it. Morgan & Morgan thinks they're funny. Morgan & Morgan laughs at everybody because John knows. Bro, John Morgan, all those emails, he laughs at you. Randall didn't watch tape either, and Buddy hated that shit. Yeah. Bro, thank you, senor. You and I go back and forth, man. You're awesome. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, dude. You're awesome. Who's that? Okay, I'll have to take a listen. Tom Kelly? Never heard of him. Is he a young guy? Hopefully he's a young guy. And I can put some people on that thing. I think the Eagles should have won 3 times, not 1 time. Let's see. Bro, I don't think I'm more important than I am. You must think I'm awful important because you're here every day. Kyler would never fumble the Super Bowl away. Kyler Murray's not a better football player than Jalen. Okay? That's not true. I think Kyler's got a lot of talent, but he's not a better football player than Jalen Hurts. That's not where I'm going. Kyler has Justin Jefferson and Addison now. And what else? Brian Flores on the other side. All right, guys, my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Speaking of them, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. John and Ultima Morgan started this company over 25 years ago, defending families across the country and families like yours. Trust me when I tell you, I've known these folks for over 25 years. They're personal friends of mine. If you ever get injured, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the jet setters and the high rollers, to the shot takers and the tastemakers. Welcome to the viewfinders, the thrill seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Guys, tomorrow we'll make it 56 days until training camp. 3 days, too, from D-Day when it comes to A.J. Brown. Hit the like button. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much, guys. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.